Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's edition of another live commentary live stream on the channel today. It is the NASCAR Xfinity Series at Darlington Raceway for the running of the Shriners Children's 200. Our full race flag-to-flag coverage will begin here very shortly as the race is about to begin. Drop of the green flag is in about another 10 minutes, give or take. Before we get into the starting lineup for today's race, we will first look at the point standings going into this next round of the NASCAR Xfinity Series season today. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as we get into today's coverage. Austin Hill comes in with the regular season points lead into race number 11 on the Xfinity Series season. We will still have 15 races left in the regular season for the Xfinity Series once the checkered flag does fly today. Hill has 3 wins on the season and a 4-point lead over John Hunter Nemechek. Nemechek with 2 wins this year as well. Each have 3 stage wins, so it's a very tight competitive battle as of right now for the regular season title. Chandler Smith has 1 win and is locked into the playoffs as well. He's 38 points out of first as far as the regular season championship is concerned, but he is locked into the playoffs with the win. Sammy Smith, the rookie with 1 win this year, as well as locked in, and Jeb Burton winning at Talladega a few weeks ago is locked into the Xfinity Series playoff field. 12 drivers are eligible, only 5 are locked in so far. Drivers sitting points-wise, Josh Berry, Justin Allgaier, Cole Custer, all over 1 race worth of points ahead of the cutoff line. Sheldon Creed is 56 points to the good. Riley Herbst is 54 points to the good. Then you move down the leaderboard a little bit, and it gets much tighter after that. Daniel Hemrick, who's 10th in the regular season standings, is only 26 points to the good above the cutoff line. Sam Mayer is the last driver above the cutoff line. He is 9 points to the good over his JRM teammate Brandon Jones, who again is -9. Parker Kligerman is 19 behind the cutoff line. Ryan Sieg is 37 back, and Brett Moffitt is 51 points behind Sam Mayer for that final spot as of right now. Some of those drivers starting pretty good in the running order today. Some of them did not qualify well yesterday or had issues in qualifying or practice, virtue of getting into the wall. We saw a lot of drivers do that during the Xfinity Series qualifying time trials yesterday afternoon. It's going to be a hot, slick racetrack this afternoon, a lot less grip than what you might have seen with the Truck Series last night under the lights at Darlington, so it is going to be a fun day of racing, I'm sure. And that is definitely the updates, I guess, that you should be aware of going into today's race. We will get through the starting lineup once we get the command to fire engine, so we're still waiting on that right now. My pick for today's race is going to be Kyle Larson. I am picking Larson to win. I had a $25 free bet money today, so I put it on Larson to win today's race. I feel confident with it. I think top 3 bet is pretty good for Larson, honestly. I think he's easily got one of the 3 fastest cars in the field. He was competing for a win in last year's Xfinity race that he ran at Darlington, which would have been the summer race here, not the spring race, but he has ran in the Xfinity Series in recent years at this track. I'd say these cars probably suit his driving style a little more than, say, even the Cup cars do. And this is a track that suits his driving style. He has never won at Darlington in any of the 3 NASCAR series or top series at Darlington. So today could be the day he could end up wiping that away. He'll be in the 10 car for Colleague Racing. I believe he's the 4th different Cup regular to start in that Colleague Racing number 10 Chevrolet this year. Kyle Busch has made a few starts. Austin Dillon's made a few starts in that car. AJ Allmendinger ran the road course at COTA, and now Kyle Larson today as well. Big Dog Ice Demon King 92 Hammer T-Van, Philip Moore, Chris Davis, and others, welcome into the stream. You guys are the first down in the chat. Our goal today will be 100 likes on the stream, so that is the goal, and of course on the road to 5,000 subscribers on the channel as well, so you'll definitely want to hit the subscribe button. It helps me out a ton, helps these streams and videos out a ton on the channel. It's our second leg of the weekend action for Throwback Weekend for NASCAR. As far as the live commentary streams are concerned, tomorrow's Cup Series live commentary stream will start at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Got some classic cars running around the Darlington Raceway on the parade laps. Quite a few of them at that. I don't know if those are the actual restored cars or just modeled after some of the classics. In the Fox booth today will be Adam Alexander, Ryan Blaney, and Michael Waltrip.
Theme. I did not get the memo on the sunglasses, though.
Well, that was a little touch. Fox provided me this nice little sweater vest, and I feel like I'd add something on top of it.
We look like Mr. Rogers.
Cakes and NASCAR. That's what Darlington does.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, isn't it, Mr. Rogers?
May I be your neighbor?
It was a beautiful day in the neighborhood yesterday for Joe Gibbs Racing. They sweep the front row. John Hunter Nemechek on the pole. Ryan Truex alongside. They were fast in practice as well, Michael.
Yeah, well, you want short run speed for sure to get that track position. All three of their cars in the top 10. But John Hunter, Ryan Truex, they were lights out. 10 lap average, 20 lap average, and 30 lap average. You have to make them the favorite. They got that built-in track position, and they've got really fast cars.
If one of those two Toyotas is not the favorite, he's sitting right behind them. 2021 Cup champ Kyle Larson racing today.
Yeah, it's really hard to count Larson out at especially this place, and I know the Gibbs cars have tons of speed. They were best on averages, but just something about Kyle. He does a good job of just learning what the track's giving him, what his car will do, and how he can change up his line to kind of contend with cars that might be a little bit faster than him. So he's the one I'm really looking forward to watching today.
Larson was in the field here in the fall when we had a spectacular finish. This was the best, wasn't it?
It really was. Larson and Creed are racing super hard. They get into each other a couple times. Noah seizes the opportunity, and Sheldon just decides to pin it on the fence. Noah comes up, hits the wall, bounces off of it. Sheldon kind of stayed on the fence too long. He just lost so much momentum, and Noah was able to win. But I remember watching that race, and it had me on the edge of my seat, and maybe we'll see something just like that today.
Noah said he ran in the wall. It seemed to work pretty good for him. I'll give it a try. And he pulled off the win.
This has been a great track for Junior Motorsports, sweeping here the last 2 years with Noah winning in the fall. But 3 of their 4 drivers today starting outside the top 10. And keep this in mind, Junior Motorsports looking for their first win of 2023. Let's go trackside.
And now, race fans, here to say the most famous words in motorsports. Please welcome the chairman of the board of directors of Shriners Children's, Kenny Craven, and Shriners Children's patient ambassador, Parker.
On behalf of over 1.5 million kids just like Parker, we thank you for your support of supporting Shriners Hospitals for Children. Parker, it's all yours.
Drivers, start your engines.
Engines are fired, and the 11th race of the NASCAR Xfinity Series season in 2023 will begin here in a matter of moments. Before that, we'll take you through today's starting lineup of the Shriners Children's 200 at the Darlington Raceway. John Hunter Nemechek and Ryan Truex on the front row. Truex coming off a win at Dover in the last race for the Xfinity Series 2 weeks ago, and Nemechek looking for his 3rd win of the season. Kyle Larson and Sam Mayer will make up row number 2. Mayer, the last driver above the Xfinity Series cutoff line for the playoffs into today's race, and Larson making his first Xfinity start of 2023. Cole Custer and Chandler Smith will be in row number 3. Smith with a win earlier this season at Las Vegas, trying to win on another intermediate track today, and Cole Custer still looking for his first win of the year as well. Sheldon Creed and Parker Retzlaff will be in row 4. Creed much better this year than what he was a season ago. Came close to winning this race. Finished 2nd in the last Darlington Xfinity race. We'll see if he can get the win today. Sammy Smith and Austin Hill will be back in row 5. Hill, the regular season points leader and most winningest driver so far this year through the first 10 races in the Xfinity Series season. And Sammy Smith trying to go for his 2nd career win as a rookie. Brandon Jones and Daniel Hemrick will be in row number 6 for this one. Brandon Jones, the first driver below the cutoff line, -9 points coming into the race today. Josh Berry and Brett Moffitt will be back in row 7. Berry wants to get the first win for JRM this season. He'll be starting in the inside of row number 7 with former truck champ to his outside of Brett Moffitt. Jeb Burton and Ryan Sieg will be in row number 8. Burton got the first win for Jordan Anderson Racing a couple weeks ago at Talladega, looking for his 2nd win in 3 races today. Justin Allgaier and Riley Herbst will be in row number 9 for this race. Allgaier looking for his first win of the year as well, and Riley Herbst has been Mr. Consistency so far this year. Quite a few good finishes, looking for another one today. Jeremy Clements and Anthony Alfredo will be back in row number 10. Ross Chastain and Sage Karam in row number 11. Chastain driving the 91 car for Mario Gosling today. Parker Kligerman and Corey Heim will be in row 17. Kligerman on the bubble coming into the race today for the playoffs. Lost some ground at Dover after an early crash. Looking to get to the checkered flag this afternoon. And Corey Heim making a one-off start in the Xfinity Series again today. Carson Hocevar and Kaz Gralla will be in row 13. Hocevar making his first career NASCAR Xfinity Series start today. Josh Williams and Stephen Parsons behind them in row 14. Parsons was top 10 in practice yesterday afternoon. Kyle Sieg and Ty Dillon will be in row 15. Ty Dillon, another Cup regular running in today's race, one of three. He'll be running the 3 car for Richard Childress Racing. Patrick Emmerle and Ryan Ellis will be back in row number 16. Row 17 will be Jeffrey Earnhardt and Matt Mills. Beautiful Wheaties throwback scheme on Earnhardt's car today. Brennan Poole and Greg Gaulding will be in row number 18, and then row 19 rounding out the field will be Joe Graf Jr. and the return of Blaine Perkins after his Talladega crash a few weeks ago. That will be your 38-car field for today's NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Darlington. For more of the pre-race broadcast leading up to the drop of the green flag today, here is the Fox coverage. The race, by the way, on your local Fox affiliate today. First time for the Xfinity Series that will be the case for this season.
Going to a high in the mid-80s, right around 86 is where we expect to top out. Plenty of sunshine on our Fox weather board. And Xfinity team's racing today for the 11th time after a weekend off. 2 weeks ago, Dover, Delaware, the scene. It was the Ryan Truex show. Had never won at this level of competition. But boy, did he erase that stat, leading over 100 laps, winning both stages, and collecting his first career victory. He's back today in the 19, starting on the front row. Let's dial him up and go from the driver's seat.
Yeah. Hey, Ryan Truex. Ryan Blaney up in the booth, yelling.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Well, you dominated at Dover to get your first Xfinity win. I will say that was long overdue. I think you should have won many in that time. But you have a really good-looking car today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you felt yesterday in practice and what you look forward to today?
Yeah, I felt good about it. Yeah, man, when you can have that momentum on your side like we did at Dover, bring it into another race, have an off weekend in between to hang out, recharge. It's just been a great 2 weeks for me and really my whole family. You know, to get me and Martin and Victor Lane the same weekend was really cool. So just thankful to be able to drive these beautiful GR Supers when I get the chance. And everybody's Joe Gibbs Racing for obviously building amazing race cars. So I feel good about it today. I felt like we were really good in race trim. I was a little upset with myself for under-driving it and qualifying, but that's kind of been my Achilles heel. So it feels good to be on the front row here, and hopefully we can go get us another checkered flag.
All right, well, if you underdrove it qualifying, you're still second. That's probably trouble for everybody else today. So best of luck. Trying to go back-to-back today. Have a good one.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Ryan basically picking up where he left off. Let's take a look now at our Shriners Children's starting lineup. Row 1, swept by Joe Gibbs Racing. 4th time they've done that here at Darlington. Row 2, we talked in the open about Kyle Larson. He's never won at Darlington in any type of race car, and he's sitting alongside a 19-year-old Sam Mayer who's looking for his first career victory today driving for Junior Motorsports.
Yeah, row 3, we'll have Cole Custer in that beautiful Ford Mustang alongside Chandler Smith. Already has a win this season. And in row 4, we have Sheldon Creed in that great Kevin Harvick throwback. Kevin must be getting old if he's already got a throwback. And Parker Retzlaff starting 8.
He's going to get older. There's more Kevin Harvick throwbacks, I can promise you that. There's Austin Hill and Sammy Smith, row 5. Sammy Smith, one of those potent Joe Gibbs Racing cars we talked about. 2021 champ Daniel Hemrick lines up beside Brandon Jones, who won here in the fall of 20.
And let's go to row 7. Great throwback to Tim Richmond, Brett Moffitt alongside Josh Berry. Berry, a runner-up here 2 seasons ago. And the runner-up for Berry, a fan favorite. Fans have been voting all week long for their favorite throwback paint scheme. This one throwing back to Hut Strickland. The fans loved it. That's the best of the bunch. I love that one from back in 1996 up through the late 90s.
Calera, Alabama's Hut Strickland. That's a beautiful car.
And now we hear from our pit reporters. We start things out with a man that won here in 2011 in the Southern 500. Good afternoon, Regan Smith.
Well, good afternoon, Adam, and what a perfect day for racing in Darlington it is. Sheldon Creed, last time we were here, we showed that finish. He came oh so close to getting his first career Xfinity Series win, led 47 laps, and was leading going into turn 3. He is very good at this racetrack. I talked to his crew chief, Jeff Stankiewicz, about why that is. He said Sheldon is great at being aggressive early, but then managing the tires after that and putting himself in position after 5 laps to be able to go out and race for wins at this track. He's got 2 Truck Series wins here already. Keep an eye on him today as a guy that could get his first Xfinity Series win. Josh Sims?
Well, Regan, Ross Chastain has been the talk of NASCAR all week long because of that altercation with Noah Gragson. And that video has been seen everywhere, but Ross was quick to point out, hey, I don't like to see fights, I don't like to be in fights, but when a situation like that happens, he said, hey, you just gotta defend yourself. But he said him and Noah talked on Monday, they both voiced each other's sides, and then they went out and raced micros on Monday night. He said they're good, the quickest way to move past that, that's the race. Ross doing a ton of that this weekend, racing in all 3 series. He's in the 91 today, but he's got his work cut out for him starting 21st, guys.
What happened last week, Josh, really shouldn't surprise us because Ross is basically making a point over the years. I'll go toe-to-toe with anybody, including here 2018 when he went up against Kevin Harvick.
I tried to stay as low as I could, and he just rode on my door. That's just a really inexperienced racer and a really bad move there. And got the air on, got on beside me and just kept going to the racetrack. I couldn't do anything with the wheels, so you got a really inexperienced guy in a really fast car that made a really bad move and then wrecked me, down the back straightaway, hooked me to the right. So just probably the reason that he'll never get to drive many of them again.
Well, he's certainly got to drive a few of them since then, and in the heat of the moment, you're liable to say about anything. But the hook, that was a big part about it. After they ran into the wall, him hooking Harvick and spinning him around, I'm sure that really upset Kevin, and I don't blame him.
I think that's what upset Kevin the most. If you hook someone in the right rear, that's usually you probably meant to do that. So I can understand that, but gosh, that doesn't seem like that long ago. But gosh, that's like 5 years ago. So,
I know.
And look where we are now.
How quickly things can change, right? All right, you've heard from the guys in the booth. We said hello to our pit reporters. Now we go to the spotter stand. Our analyst there, Coleman Presley. Great to have you with us, Coleman.
Hey, thanks, Adam. Exciting race today. Lady in Black. It's hot, slick outside. The groove's going to be changing around. That's going to be the spotter's really key role. Watching the groove, how it changes in turns 3 and 4 especially. As it migrates to the top, it starts taking rubber. It's up to us to watch the lanes change as it moves back down, try to get ahead of it, and let our drivers know where the speed is. Excited to watch this race take place today.
And it's a fast race. 200.
Stage splits will be exactly the same as they were in the Truck Series race yesterday. Equal race lengths of 147 laps and 200 miles for the scheduled distance. Stages 1 and 2 will each be 45 laps, 57 laps in the final stage of the race. The field window, 60 to 65 laps, so they can make it on fuel all the way through the run. Anytime you see a caution after 5+ laps into the run, you'll likely see pit stops for tire changes because the fall off will be very, very abundant, I guess, in today's race as we get ready for the green flag. A lot more beautiful throwback schemes in the Xfinity Series field. Saw a few of them last night in the Truck Series, and we'll see more in the Cup race tomorrow. Nemechek, who was the pole sitter, elects the outside lane. That has been the preferred lane through most of the truck race yesterday. We'll see if it'll be the same in the Xfinity Series field. The green flag is in the air, and we are racing at Darlington. Nemechek easily clear of the 2 cars of Sam Mayer and Ryan Truex behind him. Kyle Larson spun the tires on the inside of row 2 on the start, and he loses 2 positions. He'll fall in 5th off the exit of turn 2. Still door-to-door for second between Ryan Truex and Sam Mayer. Mayer is on the outside lane, and then Ryan Truex is down on the bottom. Larson now quickly side-by-side with Chandler Smith for 4th in the middle of turns 3 and 4. Will not be able to complete the pass, and they'll remain side-by-side down the front stretch. Ryan Truex trying to side draft the one of Sam Mayer just a little bit to hold alongside of him. Diamonding turns 1 and 2 off. He's going to have to slide in line behind Mayer, who was ripping the outside very well and will accelerate by Truex. Nemechek led the opening lap of the race and continues to lead by about 3 car lengths over Mayer down the backstretch into 3 and 4 on lap 2. Robert Goodrich, Taj Flatine, and Jeff Sperry also welcome into the stream right before the start of the race. Parker Retzlaff settling in the 7th place position, just ahead of Austin Hill. Nice classic Jeff Burton throwback to a Busch Series scheme in the mid-2000s. Same number, too, with the 21. Already to lap number 3. Half a second lead already quickly built up for Nemechek over Mayer. On to lap number 4. It looks like the caution flag is out on lap 4. Like maybe Sammy Smith had a bit of a slide bringing out the caution. Slight contact with Riley Herbst in the 98 who was above him. Smith went sliding down the track. Made a great save. Great save by Sammy Smith. No major damage on the 18 car, but that was the reason for the caution. Maybe a little too quick at the trigger to throw the yellow. So quickly under caution, lap 4 after a slide from Sammy Smith.
Yeah, you're on your right side because he's going to be on you so tight, you know?
Yeah, that's a good explanation by the spotter because, you know, there's like it's back and forth because it's so narrow into there, but he said go to the apron, but it's so flat.
That was a little bit of team communications from the 18 of Sammy Smith. So we're under caution, lap 4, after the slide from the 18 car. We didn't see many cautions in the truck race yesterday. I think we only ended up having 6 total, and that was even with the 2 overtime restarts at the end of the race. And already won on lap 4 today. We didn't have a single caution for incident in the entirety of the first 2 stages in the truck race last night. Took until a couple laps into stage 3 before we saw one, which was over 90 laps into the race out of the 147. Got around 50 people watch right now. Appreciate everybody tuning in so far in the early going of this race this afternoon. The Shriners Children's 200 at the Darlington Raceway. Again, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you haven't already. Your top 10 through the first 4 laps of the race. John Hunter Nemechek is your race leader. Sam Mayer in 2nd. Ryan Truex 3rd. Chandler Smith is 4th. Kyle Larson 5th. Cole Custer 6th. Parker Retzlaff 7th. Austin Hill 8th. And Sheldon Creed 9th, followed by Daniel Hemrick in 10th. So that is the top 10 through the first few laps of today's race. I'll quickly put a poll in the chat for who you think will win today's race. And I will make sure I close this just after the end of stage 2. Should be a pretty quick caution, I would probably imagine. I can't spell to save my life right now. We'll put the pole sitter in here. John Hunter Nemechek. Put last race winner Ryan Truex. And then Kyle Larson. Followed by other. I didn't put a question mark at the end of Darlington, but I'm pretty sure you guys understand it. It's a question. I think we had 119 votes on last night's Truck Series poll, so we'll see if we get more than that. Be sure to vote. We ended up having... I didn't check to see what we ended up getting done with the... Gotta look here. Field is already doubled up. They'll be going green this time by the way. Get the leader... Oh, that's not the leaderboard. There we go. There's the leaderboard. Front row for the restart going to be John Hunter Nemechek, Sam Mayer. Row 2, Kyle Larson will take the inside of that second row once again. Didn't take off well for him this time, but maybe he's hoping for some better luck this go around. Ryan Truex to his outside. Row 3 will be Cole Custer and Chandler Smith. Row 4, Parker Retzlaff and Austin Hill. Row 5 will be Daniel Hemrick and Sheldon Creed. Restart back in the air. It looked like Sam Mayer got a better launch than the 20 on the outside lane. He was getting a push from behind and might have lifted the rear tires up off the ground a little bit. Sam Mayer will be clear for the race lead in the middle of turns 1 and 2. Larson again, not that great in the bottom of row 2, and he may lose an extra position compared to what he did the last time. Austin Hill going to get by along with the 16 of Chandler Smith. So now Larson's back to 6th place. Fell from 3rd to 5th at the start of the race. And 3rd to 6th on the restart that time. Mayer clear by a couple car lengths to lead his first lap of the day. John Hunter Nemechek led the first 8, most of those, first 7 rather, most of those under the caution. And now Sam Mayer is out in front. Another slide by Sammy Smith. This time there's no caution. Second time he has had a slide, almost a carbon copy of what happened in turns 1 and 2 earlier. That time he saved it. No yellow flag. We do stay green. And this time he was 3 wide on the bottom rather than side by side. He just overdrove the corner. Right into the door of the 7 of Justin Allgaier, leaving a donut on the left side number. Good job by Allgaier keeping control of his car as well. Right around 14th place is where that contact took place. Mayer didn't lose, or I should say Sammy Smith didn't lose too many positions with that slide he had because he had a big save, so he only really lost a couple positions when the caution came out.
Yeah, you know it is. I'd say this is the most mentally tough track we go to, you know. So 1 and 2 is really long and sweeping, very narrow. You know, you see him kind of clipping the apron. You're driving up towards the wall here. And here's the new patch. It's pretty smooth on the new patch. There's a couple big bumps here, and then that's the biggest bump right there that really jars you. And that's the toughest one because you're like coming out of the corner, your car's kind of decompressing a little bit, and then it just pops you up even more. So that's a super tough spot. And then you hear the off-throttle time is way more in 3 and 4. It's just tighter, it's slower. But there's plenty of options as you see all these different lanes being run as the 98's been in the fence.
Yeah, we were on board with Cole Custer. Here's his teammate Riley Herbst, that Ken Block throwback, and
Smith's coming with him too, Adam.
going to come down pit road, and yeah, Sammy Smith going to make a pit stop as well. Obviously unscheduled, you would never want to pit under green, and man, he did get into the wall pretty good there, right? I don't know what it is about Justin Allgaier. He's a magnet for the problems today. Gets hit by Sammy Smith, and here right behind Riley Herbst, Josh.
Yeah, tough break for the 98. He hit the wall there, and the tire went down for him, so he's going to have to come in and get that replaced. They're going to put 4 tires on it. Riley Herbst.
That was a big hit. It could have damaged that front suspension for sure.
This is a driver that started the year with 6 consecutive top 10s. And we're like, he is going places. Last 4 races, he's finished outside the top 20. In early trouble today, Kyle Larson looking good in the 10. He's running 5th right now, Coleman.
Yeah, and if you look at Kyle Larson's line, it's definitely showing he has a lot of confidence in his car. One thing he's known for is his high entry to 1. If you see him going into 1 here, he has that little bit higher entry. It lets him get to the wall, has set up for extra 2 and carry speed all the way down the back straightaway. Another move that Kyle's really known for here, he'll run the high line through 3 and 4, and then once he gets past the center of the corner, he does a really good job of getting it pointed down the hill and keeping his tires nice and straight to keep grip in it. So keep looking out for that as this run goes on. It's probably going to pay off for him.
And Ryan, everything that Coleman said are things that you guys study in the days leading up to the weekend, whether it's in sim or just looking at lap tracker. Everything that Kyle Larson does, you know what he's doing. Is it easy to do what he does?
Studying's one thing, applying it and doing it are a completely other thing. Yeah, I mean, Kyle's just really good at, you know, you see the high entry, you see him putting a lot of pressure here on the 16, and watch, you know, he's going to get to the wall, and he's going to kind of park the middle a little bit and then turn back down. You know, some guys follow the wall all the way around, but it's kind of a weird angle if you continue to run the radius. So Kyle does a good job of kind of getting to the center, turning, and then accelerating straight off of the corner. See, now he's going to try to just dart under him. So he's going to put him in a bad spot, force the 16 to lift. You know, that's not a normal Kyle Larson line of oh, he did lift.
Oh.
You know, so that's a big option too. You can shortcut the entry of one, run on the apron, run low through the center of the corner, and try to get alongside that guy and just put him in a bad spot for turn 2, and he did that perfectly.
I want to give some credit to Chandler Smith, who's hanging tough early. First time he's been here in an Xfinity car.
Going to commercial break right now on FS1. 17 laps in out of 147 in the early going of today's Darlington Xfinity Series action. Sam Mayer leads this race by 0.7 of a second over John Hunter Nemechek. Ryan Truex is in third. Kyle Larson now up to fourth after just passing Chandler Smith, who remains in fifth. Austin Hill in sixth. Cole Custer seventh. Sheldon Creed eighth. Brett Moffitt ninth. Daniel Hemrick is 10th. Justin Allgaier in 11th. 12th place is Parker Retzlaff. Brandon Jones 13th. Ryan Sieg 14th. Anthony Alfredo 15th. Josh Berry in 16th place. Jeremy Clements is in 17th. Parker Kligerman 18th. Ross Chastain 19th. Carson Hocevar 20th. Corey Heim 21st. 22nd is Ty Dillon. Stephen Parsons 23rd. Kyle Sieg is in 24th. Josh Williams 25th. Patrick Emerly 26th. Ryan Ellis 27th. Jeb Burton 28th. Sage Karam 29th. Kaz Gralla is 30th. Jeffrey Earnhardt 31st. Joe Graf Jr. 32nd. Brendan Poole 33rd. 34th. Matt Mills. Blaine Perkins 35th. Gray Goulding 36th. Sammy Smith 37th. 2 laps down, making an unscheduled pit stop, as well as Riley Herbst in last. 2 laps down, he also made an unscheduled stop. 36 cars on the lead lap. As of right now, we are officially about 11 laps in to this green flag run following the restart back at lap 7. Earl Arnold Jr., Mark Witkowski, Dark Crypto, also welcome to the stream. My streams are the only ones you can't hear. I'm not sure. A couple of you guys might have to double down on that if you can't hear me. Pretty sure all my audio settings are... Yeah, all the audio is up full volume. It might be just on your end. Dylan, Stephen Parsons. Yeah, it's got to be on you, because I just put the volume up on my phone so I'm able to look at the chat, and everything's fine, so. We're good. Well, I'm good, at least. Mayer continues to lead, and he's actually pulling away from John Hunter Nemechek just a little bit. Took Larson a bit to get by Chandler Smith. Already 6 seconds is the gap between Larson and Smith, and I think Larson only passed him about 5 laps ago. So Chandler Smith's struggling with the handling of his race car here in the early going. Larson, in fact, that last lap was quicker than anybody on the racetrack. Ran a 32.569. Sam Mayer ran a 32.895. Over 20 laps into the run, and we've already seen over 2 seconds of fall off. Sam Mayer was 2.3 seconds slower that last lap than what he was on his fastest lap of the race, which was lap 2. In fact, everybody in the top 9 ran their fastest lap of the race on lap 2. The only one in the top 10 that didn't was Allgaier, which was on lap 3. Probably had less traffic there than what he did on the first lap. Already a scuff mark on Ryan Truex's car. May have gotten into the wall in the early going of this one. Something a lot of drivers will probably have to deal with in today's race. And maybe it could have been for practice or qualifying from yesterday, because there were quite a few drivers that did skim the wall in their qualifying runs yesterday. I know Sheldon Creed did. A lot of them did not go to backup cars that just kind of pulled the fenders out. They were able to change tires for the start of the race today and didn't really have to worry about anything major with starting at the back of the field. How difficult it is to pass on this racetrack with it being very, very narrow compared to any other track on the circuit. Austin Hill has moved himself in the top 5 now as he passes Chandler Smith. Smith's still struggling with his race car. Cole Custer is going to make his way around And now Sheldon Creed is going to also try to pass Chandler Smith. So Smith has lost about 4 spots or so over the last 10 laps. If Creed can get around him, which he is not able to do that time through turns 1 and 2. I really like the number 2 of Sheldon Creed's throwback. A throwback to the number 2. It's actually a Kevin Harvick throwback, I think, from 2001, but a lot of drivers ran that AC Delco number 2 paint scheme back in the 2000s in the NASCAR Xfinity series, and Clint Boyer ran that car before as well, won a championship, in fact, with that car. Always like that AC Delco number 2. Probably one of my favorite Busch Series schemes of all time. We're back in my childhood. Creed got really loose off turn 2. Again, he got to the inside of Chandler Smith. He couldn't complete the pass. Had such a big wiggle that not only couldn't stay alongside the 16, but now Justin Allgaier's closed the gap on the 2 car and runs right behind him off the exit of turn 4. Brett Moffitt has moved inside the top 10, passing Daniel Hemrick. Hemrick still trying to keep the battle on. And Hemrick is going to complete the pass back on Brett Moffitt now. So Hemrick is back into 10th as he goes back and forth with Moffitt. Again to the inside goes Creed trying to get by Chandler Smith. He's going to send it off into turns 3 and 4. Slides way up the track into the wall. He overdrove it. Allgaier's going to get by both the 2 and the 16. And Sheldon Creed's going to lose a little bit of ground. Chandler Smith got to barely get to the inside of the 2. Half block thrown by Creed, trying to protect the positioning. I think all tires are still up on Creed's race car, but he did get into the wall pretty good. Mentioned he had some damage from getting into the wall in qualifying yesterday as well. Daniel Hemrick going to get by his teammate Chandler Smith. Smith trying to block Brett Moffitt. Moffitt way down below the hashed white line in 3 and 4, trying to get underneath the 16, who had to lift after Hemrick rolled out of the throttle. Had a big loose moment. Moffitt clears the 16 car. Brandon Jones to the outside of the 16. Great battling going on between positions 7 and 11 on the racetrack. Jones now back inside the top 10 as he clears Moffitt from the outside lane as well. Jones, a former winner at Darlington in the Xfinity Series. Kyle Larson is still the fastest car on the racetrack right now. Dropped to 33.204 that last lap, which was about 0.3 quicker than Sam Mayer, who continues to lead this race. Larson, that last lap, also got by Ryan Truex on the outside lane, as Truex is not really able to keep up with both Nemechek and Mayer at the front of the field. Larson continues to click away at John Hunter Nemechek for second place as well. Running the outside lane, as is Nemechek, up near the wall. Nemechek maybe a little closer to the wall, might have actually gotten into it just a little bit in the center of turns 3 and 4. Larson again quicker than the 2 cars in front of him that last lap. And it looks like Riley Herbst back in the wall again. He is very, very slow on the racetrack. Not sure if that's going to bring out a caution or not. It looks like the right front tire has given out on Riley Herbst's race car. He's going to take it all the way to the bottom of the racetrack. He got into the wall, made an unscheduled stop a little bit ago. Maybe didn't pull out the fenders enough on that right front as he has compacted the wall even harder this time. This will be the 5th consecutive race for Riley Herbst in which he has finished outside the top 20, and it looked like it was down as he was driving into turn 1. And just went right up into the wall. Pretty hard hit for Riley Herbst. And that is definitely going to do him in and likely put an end to Herbst's afternoon. He'll continue to drop in points just a little bit more. Sam Mayer working through lap traffic right now at the front of the field. "13 laps to go yet. Stage 1 right now. 33 laps in the books. Nemechek and Larson battling for second on the racetrack still. Top 3 all within about a second of each other on the racetrack. And it is a side-by-side commercial break going on right now, so we'll keep the broadcast coverage going for the moment. Nemechek had a hard time trying to pass the 26 of Kaz Gralla, who is already a lap down. Larson closes the gap even more on Nemechek. He's about a car length and a half behind him or so in the middle of 1 and 2. As they get back to full throttle acceleration off of turn 2, Larson a little bit better of a run, getting a slight draft down the backstretch into turn 3, closes in the braking zone as well as he drives it in a lot harder on entry. 20 wiggling towards the top, Larson gets the clean air on the bottom lane near the hash lines. Larson slides up the hill and right in line behind the 20 once again. Heavy lap traffic now starting to build up in front of Sam Mayer. Larson continues his battle with Nemechek. Top 3 within 0.8 of a second of the race lead with 11 laps left in the stage. Josh Williams going to go lap down. Sammy Smith about to lose another lap at the hands of Sam Mayer. The 0-2 of Blaine Perkins is slow on the racetrack. Maybe a flat tire. Yep, definitely a flat right front. He has compacted the wall pretty hard as well. This team's asking a lot of these tires to go 45 laps on them. When we see about a second of fall off every 10 laps. We're on this very worn out Darlington race surface. Larson still has not gotten around John Hunter Nemechek. 35 car, Patrick Emerly maybe in the way of Nemechek. He'll pull to the bottom in the middle of the corner. Larson stays a lot wider. He's going to get the run off the banking. Cuts to the inside, trying to use the lap car as a pick. Nemechek trying to side draft and block the 10 of Kyle Larson, who continues to use the lapper as a pick. Slides up the racetrack. Nemechek barely clears the 35. Almost makes contact with the lap car, and Larson is up to P2. He's got 9 laps, maybe down to a little less than 8.5 laps now to try to catch Sam Mayer to try to win this opening stage. Mayer 3 wide with a couple of lap cars right now, which is going to cost him a bit of time through turns 3 and 4. 1 lap after Larson had cleared John Hunter Nemechek for second, and he's already put about 3 to 4 car lengths on him off of turn 4. Herbst has pulled into the garage. His afternoon is done after blowing that right front tire. Second hard impact into the wall was the one that did him in. And he will end up with a last place finish here this afternoon. Two Chevys and 2 Toyotas in the top 4, followed by another Chevy in 5th. Cole Custer, the highest running Ford in 6th and the only Ford in the top 10.
It'll get you fast too. I mean, once you start abusing tire a little bit, or your car's a little off, I mean, we've seen him slide around here for the last 15, 20 laps. It seems like it just gets worse. Like you can't do anything to get anything back. Like you have to have such an emphasis on saving your stuff early.
Trouble 27, Jeb Burton around. And it looks like he has blown one of his tires after locking the brakes up mid-slide. The right front is out on the 27 car. Right off the exit of turn 4. Blaine Perkins still trying to work his way to pit road. 6 laps left in stage 1. Lap 40 at the time of the caution. So Patrick Emerly will get the free pass in the 28th place position. Jeb Burton was just a lap down at the time of his spin. Had just gotten lapped by the leaders. I don't think he got up into the wall, but he definitely got really loose. Car spun out, sliding down to the bottom of the track. A lot of trailing smoke behind him. The reasoning for the caution. But he'll be able to continue. It'll be interesting to see if we actually get a restart before the end of the stage. We have to wait for pit road to open first. We may get a restart in before the end of stage 1. We may not. If we do, it might only be a lap. 5 to go at the line. I'm sure pit road will be open this time by. I think we're going to get a 1-lap shootout, if I had to guess, to the end of this first stage. So that'll more than likely bring the majority of the field down onto pit road so they don't lose track position, especially those at the front. And we may see some drivers outside the top 10 try to go for stage points that are running for the full season points and maybe that don't have as good of cars that can compete for a win today, try to pick up a potential playoff point for at least winning a stage. Because if they only have to hold on for 1 lap, it may be doable. Although if they don't get a lot of cars behind them to stay out, they may be a sitting duck. I think the big thing is if you are the leader on the restart on old tires, you're going to want to hope that there's at least a few other cars behind you also on old tires. Yeah, Mother's Day weekend as well. Happy early Mother's Day to anybody out there. Leaders are on their way to pit road.
Those points, and here is the reason I am not a crew chief. Some of them heading your way, Josh.
Well, yeah, the number one of Sam Mayer chose to come there and pit. He says he's free overall, and he has some wheel hop as well. He's leading. He's led 34 laps so far today. In terms of the 10 of Kyle Larson, says he's pretty good on the long run. Not sure how he compares on the short run to the other guys. Reed?
Well, the 00 Cole Custer losing a little bit of grip on entry with his car right now. Did catch the wall just a little bit, as pretty much everybody's going to do at some point during this race. And the 21 of Austin Hill, he started tight with the race car as we reported earlier. It's getting better as he runs, though. Can't run the fence in 3 and 4, said I can't rip the fence like some of the other guys can and keep my momentum up.
So many drivers electing to pit here that you might be able to get some of that position back and still come through and manage a good finish in the stage.
Kyle Larson wins the race off of pit road. It's showing that Austin Hill may have won the race out of the pits and not Kyle Larson. Fox's leaderboard during the truck race last night on the races off of pit road during the caution flag pit stops were a little wonky, and that seems to be the case again here today. Because I do believe Larson won the race out of the pits. By the naked eye, it looked like Larson. Our leaderboard is scoring Larson ahead of Austin Hill as well. So Kyle Larson wins the race out of the pits, gains a spot. Austin Hill did gain 3 spots in the pits, going from 5th to 2nd. Jeremy Clement's going to stay out of the pits completely. This will give him an extra set of tires as well by not pitting right now, although he's more than likely going to be pitting at the end of the stage. I think the hope for Clements is that he stays in the top 10 to get stage points. Don't think he's going to be able to win the stage unless we don't get a restart, which could potentially happen as well. Clements made the playoffs last season after a win in the Summer Daytona race. So he's trying to qualify for the Xfinity Series playoffs 2 years in a row. But Larson did win the race out of the pits, and will be going for the stage win here. Jeremy Clements is your race leader, the only driver that had stayed out of the pits during the caution flag pit stops. Our second caution of the race today, and again taking place at lap 40. Down to about 105 laps to go already in today's action. Yeah, Mother's Day's tomorrow. And they will be getting a restart in here. Jeremy Clements has selected the outside lane, so for the drivers lined up behind him, it's going to be tough. Assuming Clements will not take off nearly as well as the cars on the bottom. It'll be a 2-lap shootout in the stage. I don't even think Clements is going to stay in the top 10 for 2 laps, honestly. I mean, it's worth a shot, I guess, compared to where he was running. I just don't think that... I mean, he's going to have probably 3 seconds a lap slower tires. They're going to absolutely mull him on this restart. Larson will be on the inside of row 1. And then row 2 will be Austin Hill on the bottom, Cole Custer on the outside, who is going to be the first car behind Clements, as Clements has about 40 lap older tires than the rest of the field. Row 3 of the restart will be John Hunter Nemechek, Sam Mayer, Ryan Truex, Sheldon Creed, row 4, Daniel Hemrick, Brandon Jones in row 5. Green flag back in the air as we expected. 51 did not take off well. They're 4 wide into turn 1 trying to get around him. And they actually made their way into 1 and 2 pretty cleanly as Clements starts to fall back. Larson has the lead off of turn 2. Austin Hill side by side with John Nemechek for second. Nemechek took a quick peek off the exit of turn 2. He wasn't behind him all the way, was behind him all the way through the corner. Didn't pull alongside of him until the exit of the corner. Nemechek is going to clear the 21 off turn 2 for second. Probably too far back to catch Larson on the final lap of the stage, though. Cole Custer trying to get the battle for second himself, as well as Austin Hill and John Hunter Nemechek continue to battle. Remember, Nemechek and Hill were only separated by 4 points for the regular season championship coming into the day. Nemechek looking to gain 1 point on Austin Hill by beating him by a position here in stage 1. Green-white checkered flag in the air for the first time today. Kyle Larson will win his first stage of the Xfinity Series season in his first Xfinity start of 2023. Second place will be John Hunter Nemechek, followed by Austin Hill third, Cole Custer fourth, and Sam Mayer will be fifth. Ryan Truex will finish sixth in the first stage, Sheldon Creed seventh, Brandon Jones eighth, Daniel Hemrick ninth, and Brett Moffitt will round out the top 10. Probably won't see pit stops with only 2 laps on these guys' tires. They will save that set with the minimum sets required for the truck in the Xfinity Series compared to what you would see in the Cup Series, which have longer races every week. So Clements will be the only one to hit pit road, and he fell all the way back to 22nd. So I don't think it was really... I ended up not working. I didn't think it was going to work. Maybe if they only had 1 lap rather than 2 on the restart, he could have stayed in the top 10, but 2 laps was just going to be too many. Most of the top 10 got around him before they got off turn 2 even. That's how old of tires he had. So Larson, the Cup regular, going to win this stage. We will take a break here during this stage break. So you're listening on KRC live for today's coverage of the NASCAR Xfinity Series Shriners Children's 200 at Darlington. Be sure to vote in the poll for who you think will win today's NASCAR Xfinity Series race. Kyle Larson has taken 43% of the votes so far. It is the favorite. He was my pick to win the race today as well. John Hunter Nemechek at 21% of the votes, and then Ryan Truex at 5% of the votes. Nemechek finished in second at the end of this first stage, and then other at 31%. Pretty close with Kyle Larson for right now. And again, you guys will have until the start of Stage 3 to make your vote for who you think will win today's race. So again, we will close that once Stage 3 begins. Robert Perkle, thanks for tuning in as well. Wanted to make sure I got the diecast out of there for the end of Stage 2 with our typical diecast showing. Waiting on Fox to come back from the commercial break to get this next stage underway. Again, 45 laps at Stage 2, just like Stage 1 was today. This is our third caution of the race, and the free pass during the stage break will be given to the 27 of Jeb Burton, who had spun, bringing out the caution before that. Sammy Smith's still going to be a lap down. Smith was able to take the wave around to get one of his 2 laps back with that late caution and getting a restart, so that he pitted for tires on during this stage break as well. So Sammy Smith and Greg Gaulding will be the only 2 1 lap down when we start this next stage. Blaine Perkins, by the way, has exited the race after he had blown a right front just before the Jeb Burton spinning caution. Sam Mayer's led the most laps so far with 34 laps led. Larson only has led 6, despite the fact that he did win the first stage. He qualified third, took him a long time in the stage to get to the lead. In fact, didn't get to the lead until this last restart. He did win the race out of the pits, which helped him. So he was on the inside of row 1, and now he'll get the lane choice for which lane he will want to pick. And now that Larson's in the lead, as long as he doesn't make a major mistake, maybe even on pit road, it's going to be tough to beat that 10 car here today. But we'll see if anybody can do it. Larson trying to get his first win at Darlington in any series in the NASCAR land at Darlington.
The opening stage. We don't get to see him a lot in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, but in recent years, when he's come over here to compete, he has delivered. If you look at his numbers, 13 career wins. Only year he was full-time 10 years ago. There are the victories talked about. And he's won 5 of his last 8 starts. Those are Kyle Busch-like numbers for Kyle Larson.
And you know what I loved in that promo for Dirt, that great show we're going to see here on FS1, he said these sprint cars are just so fast. I mean, we're running 180 miles an hour here at Darlington, an inch off the wall, and he just can't get over the thrill and the speed of the dirt cars.
Pit road open here, and this is the normal time to pit at the end of a stage, but because everyone pitted there with a couple to go and flipped it, this is a bunch of guys that were a lap down or elected to stay out at the end of the stage and will make their stop now. Among them, Jeremy Clements, who obviously fell backwards, but you know, on a better set of tires here as we begin the second stage, so a slight advantage there for the driver out of Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Going to another commercial break here as we are still waiting for the resumption of this race following the Stage 1 caution. Surprised they just opened pit road, by the way. They were under caution for 5 laps before they opened pit road. Because I think it was lap 50 as they were on pit road. For those that had stayed out to get the wave around that were a lap down after that longer green flag run in the middle portion of Stage 1. There's just under 100 people watching right now. Be sure to like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you have not already. Our goal is 100 likes on the stream this afternoon. We are at 35 right now. Our goal was 100 last night. We got over 120 before the end of the truck race. Kyle Larson currently leads this NASCAR Xfinity Series race. John Hunter Nemechek in second. Austin Hill third. Cole Custer fourth. Sam Mayer fifth. That is the top 5 in the early going of today's race. Comment in the chat who you think will win today's NASCAR Xfinity Series race if you have already voted. If you haven't, be sure to do so as well. 48 votes have been casted so far. We'll close this poll when Stage 3 begins. Larson's still at 42%, 33% for other. It's closed actually a little bit from the last time we checked in on it. John Hunter Nemechek 21% of the votes, and Ryan Truex at 4% of the 48 votes that have been casted so far. Again, that will close at the beginning of Stage 3. We've got the entire second stage yet to go. Larson will be the control car on the upcoming restart. I'm sure Nemechek will probably take the front row as well. Nemechek had qualified on the pole, led the first, would have been 6 laps of the race, before he lost the lead to Sam Mayer on the first restart of the day after Sammy Smith had a slide back in Stage 1. He is still a lap down trying to recover. He made an unscheduled stop as well after having a flat tire. Fell a couple of laps down because he had another big slide on that ensuing restart. Ended up taking the wave around, got one of the laps back, but he's still 1 lap down when we start Stage 2. Get a quick caution, though. He's got a good chance to get the free pass. If we get longer into the green flag run to start Stage 2, he's going to have less of a chance of getting the free pass, because I'm sure there will be more drivers to go a lap down before then.
And you You wrestle.
I wrestle.
You won a tackle box
Oh
once.
my gosh.
Want to be like Bo, man.
We're on
That's
network television, and the humility in this outfit of all things. Coleman, what do you see on this restart?
It's going to be another old tire restart, which usually lends to the bottom lane. Kyle Larson chose the top. John Hunter Nemechek lost the lead earlier by choosing the top. We'll see if he can rebound right here by having the bottom lane given to him.
Couple of cautions in our opening stage. The yellow to end that first 45-lap run.
Green flag back in the air. Stage 2 underway at Darlington. Larson on the outside of the front row. Nemechek underneath him. Row 2 behind them on the restart. Cole Custer and Austin Hill. Into turns 1 and 2, side by side for the lead. Nemechek holding on with the 10 and not anymore, as Larson will be able to pull clear in the center of the corner. Austin Hill off the exit of turn 2, still side by side. Sam Mayers recovered to 4th, clearing Cole Custer. Got squeezed just a little bit there by John Hunter Nemechek before getting into turns 3 and 4. Sheldon Krieg getting pinched off maybe a little bit by Ryan Truex. Truex continues to battle underneath the 2. Got a spinner on the front stretch that is backed into the outside wall. That would be the 31 of Parker Retzlaff, who had qualified in the top 10 for today's race. Retzlaff is around, bringing out our 4th caution in the first 54 laps of this afternoon's race. Quite a bit of damage to the left rear corner panel, to back bumper cover of the 31. And Josh Berry had actually got squeezed into the wall by the 31. They were 3 wide off the exit of turn 4 where Berry got squeezed into the wall by the 31, and 3 wide at Darlington doesn't typically lend its hand into making a smooth going of that, and Berry got squeezed and ended up in return hooking the 31 after he had bounced off of the wall. Everybody was able to scatter down to the inside and missed the spinning 31 of Retzlaff. Kind of a tough rookie season for Retzlaff. That 31 car's had some speed. He's qualified really well in a lot of races this season, but he seems to struggle in trying to make it to the end. And here today, he's going to struggle to do just that once again. So we'll take another break here during this commercial under yet another caution in the Xfinity race at Darlington, the Shriners Children's 200. Be sure to like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Pole's getting a lot closer right now between Other and Larson. Nemechek's starting to slowly creep in as well. So continue the votes, and we'll get back into the action shortly. Seems to be a short race by memory of past races. No, they've actually all been 200. I think Darlington races for the Xfinity Series have been 200 for a very long time. I know back in the mid-2000s they were 200. Because I know playing the older NASCAR games during the week, right now we're on NASCAR 07, but like NASCAR 07, NASCAR 06, they were like 147 laps, 200 miles. I can remember NASCAR 05. So, you know, back in the mid-2000s, 04, 05, 06, they were 200. So I'd imagine they were all 200. Cup races here used to be 400 and 500. I guess they still are, because Southern 500's 500, and then they have this weekend's Cup race will be 400 miles at Darlington. So that's kind of stayed the same. I remember in 2020 when they ran a doubleheader at Darlington when they first came back from COVID, I think both races were less than 400 miles. If I remember correctly. Or maybe the first race they came back was 400, but I know that race they ran on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday night during the week. I think that one was less than that. I think it was around 300. That was the race where Busch got into Elliott, turned him on the front stretch, brought out a late caution, and then rain ended the race short, and Denny Hamlin got the win. Then, of course, Kevin Harvick won the first race back from COVID on that Sunday afternoon at Darlington. Greatest countdown show ever tomorrow, 7 p.m. on FS1. Jeff Green wins. He is not racing. As far as I know. Not anymore. He was running some backmarker equipment even up into recent years in the Xfinity series, but he hasn't ran it all this year, I know. Not sure exactly when he retired. Might have ran some races last year. I honestly couldn't tell you. I know he was in some of the NASCAR Heat games. I think like NASCAR Heat 4 and NASCAR Heat 5. So he at least raced in the Xfinity series up until like probably 2018, 2019. Sam Mayer on the inside of Larson for row 1 on the restart coming up. Row 2 will be Cole Custer, Austin Hill, Sheldon Creed, John Hunter Nemechek. And row 3, that Brett Moffitt and Ryan Truex will be in row 4. And they will be going green this time by following a caution not that long ago. After Blaine Perkins had gotten into the outside wall after contact with Josh Berry. They were 3 wide initially off the exit of turn 4. That was the first lap after the restart to begin stage 2. Pace car is down onto pit road. They'll be headed into the Geico restart zone here in a couple seconds. There they go. Green flag back in the air. Larson, not as good of a launch on the outside. Slides the rear tires. Sam Mayer down on the bottom was able to take the lead away from Nemechek on the inside of the front row earlier. This time, he's still side by side with Larson, it appears. Sheldon Creed did not get into 1 and 2 very well. Almost squeezed Ryan Truex into the outside wall. Austin Hill going to get cleared for third place by Cole Custer. Larson has the lead into turn 3. And Larson trying to hang on in the middle lane. Sam Mayer up near the wall on the outside. We haven't seen the 1 and the 10 battling with each other for the lead at all yet today. Remember, Mayer has led the most laps in this one, but Larson was the one who won the first stage. It was a slow stop for Mayer, which had him lose some track position. He didn't get as many stage points in stage 1 as a result, but on these couple restarts, he's worked his way to second. Big gaggle of cars off turn 2 after Parker Kligerman had gotten into the wall. He's slow. And there's quite a bit of damage to the back of the 48 car of Kligerman. Tough break. 2 races in a row. He wrecked out early at Dover. A lot of damage here. We do stay green for now. Larson is already about a half a second ahead of Mayer. Cole Custer got to battle the 1 car for second place on the racetrack. And we've got another car crashing on the front stretch. This time it's the 44. Heavy impact to the right front of Sage Karam's race car. And that Chevy Camaro is all sorts of torn up. And it looks like Karam's day is going to come to an end. And this is our 5th caution of the race on lap 61 as the cautions continue to pile on. A lot of damage as well to the 78 car of Anthony Alfredo. The dude wipes Chevy for BJ McLeod Motorsports. So Kligerman was slow in the middle of the corner, which stacked up quite a few cars 3 wide. Kligerman got the damage on the back of his car because he had actually gotten ran into from behind by Alfredo, which caused the damage to his right front. And then we eventually ended up seeing the 44 car spin off the exit of the last corner. And the contact with the 44 was actually with, it looked like Blaine Perkins in the 02. As he did not give Perkins a lot of room off the exit of turn 4. Karam ended up in the outside wall. Heavy with the right front. He's pulled into the pit box, but I just don't think that that car is going to be repairable. Quite a bit discombobulated around that right front. It'll be interesting if drivers will try to come down onto pit road here. We've only had probably 2 green flag laps on these tires so far, but will make a difference. It'll give them one less set of tires to the end of the race if they were to pit now. Frank Powers and Brian Kiter, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully I said your name correctly. So I have a little bit less than 30 to go yet, stage 2. Carson Hocevar having a pretty good run in his first gear Xfinity start today at Darlington. He's in the 12th place position. He looked very fast in last night's truck race at Darlington. He was in the top 5 before a slow pit stop put him backwards in traffic, and then he was around 15th for an ensuing restart where he ended up having contact with another truck. I think it was Raja Karuth, actually, that had gotten into Hocevar and spun him out. Nothing of Hocevar's doing, which caused the accident. And Ty Dillon all the way up to 13th place as well. He started back at 30th in this race, so he's working his way forward in the number 3 car. It is an RCR car. A 3rd RCR entry for this weekend's race. Play Asphalt 8 or 9 with supercars, and I've never played those games. I've actually never heard of them, to be completely honest. I don't play too. I've never really got into playing really other racing games other than like some older like dirt racing games. Growing up, and then NASCAR. Never played Gran Turismo or Need for Speed. I've played Mario Kart before, but I never actually owned it myself. Talking about the opening or reopening, I guess, of North Wilkesboro Speedway. Of course, the All-Star race will be next weekend. We'll have live coverage right here on the channel all day Saturday, by the way. Truck Series as well. Actually, trucks don't have heat races because it's an actual points race for the Truck Series. So the Truck Series having a points race on Saturday night next week. The Cup Series will have heat races before the truck main event or the truck race on Saturday night. We will actually have live commentary coverage of not only the truck race, but as well as the Cup heat races right here on the channel. So, Cup heat races we will have live commentary for. And then the Open as well as the actual All-Star race itself on Sunday we will have live commentary. All next week, and again for the North Wilkesboro All-Star race. 64 laps in, 83 still to go in today's race at Darlington. We will take another quick break before we get back into this next restart as they're still having a bit of cleanup following our 6th caution already in this afternoon's race. Dale, thanks for tuning in also. Yeah, I've heard good things about it. Alexander Levesque, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, Larson filling in for Bowman. I think William Byron's supposed to run the 51 truck for KBM as well at North Wilkesboro. So it'd be pretty interesting to see Larson and Byron go head-to-head. Byron didn't really... He was good last night in the truck race, but I don't think he had the fastest truck. I think Corey Heim and Christian Eckes were a little bit quicker than Byron. Byron was like borderline second fastest truck, maybe third. Corey Heim, that race got ruined for him on that strategy call. Them trying to save an extra set of tires for the end of the race, and he only got back up to 8th with those couple overtime restarts. They had the speed to stay up there with the 19, maybe even a little quicker than the 19. They decided to go off strategy for whatever reason, give up the track position, and never got it back. I do like the 43 car of Ryan Ellis this weekend, an old Kevin Harvick throwback from one of his early Goodwrench paint schemes. A couple of Kevin Harvick throwbacks in the Xfinity Series field today. Harvick actually running another throwback next weekend at North Wilkesboro to his rookie Cup car back from 2001. They announced that during the week of the Atlanta race for the NASCAR Cup Series, but he'll be running that. And he'll also be running it with the number 29. Not just the number 4 next weekend for Harvick. So he'll be back in the 29 car for 1 week only for that North Wilkesboro All-Star event. Yeah, I haven't done iRacing. Green flag back in the air. Larson and Mayer standing start on the front row for the restart. Mayer had to lift in the middle of 1 and 2. Cole Custer's going to get to his outside now, and Larson is clear off the exit of the corner. Mayer gets even more loose off the exit of turn 2 when he came off the hop. Sheldon Creed dive bombing by the 21, the 20, and the 1. 3 wide goes Creed to the inside. He's going to slide way up the racetrack, squeezes Nemechek in the wall, he slides. The 21's around a massive crash off of turn 4. The 19's involved. It's a parking lot. There are dozens of cars that are crashed, including both RCR cars of Austin Hill and Sheldon Creed. Oh my goodness. Nowhere to go, smoke everywhere. And another caution. First lap after the restart, Sheldon Creed made a 3 wide dive bomb getting into turn 3 to try to get by John Hunter Nemechek. Heavy damage on Chandler Smith's car. The complete left side door is ripped off. The hood is up on the windshield of the 2 of Creed. A lot of cars with heavy damage. And I mean a lot. Mayer got loose off of turn 2, which caused the 20 and the 21 to stack up behind him. Nemechek got to the inside of the 1. The 2 had a massive run, decided to try to pass all 3 cars at once going into the corner. And he slid right up into the 20, squeezed him into the wall. He went around, then the 21 slid. The 19 ran into the 21, which compiled him into the 16, which sandwiched Smith into the wall. Hemrick spun. There were quite a few other cars that spun at the back half of the field that were just trying to miss the wreck, and they were getting ran into. Mayer made some contact with Austin Hill, which caused a spin. They were both trying to miss Creed, who was sliding in front of him. Not really anything of Sam Mayer's fault there. Ryan Ellis got torn apart. Hemrick's got some pretty heavy damage. Brett Moffitt bashed the front of his car in. I think Parker Kligerman and Parker Retzlaff involved in yet another accident further back in the field as well. It wasn't Nemechek's fault at all there. That was all on Sheldon Creed. All the foam got taken off from the door as well on the left side of Chandler Smith's race car. Massive pileup, though. Off of turn 4. A lot of cars with some severe damage. It's almost like 2 major spins at once. I think Brandon Jones got clipped by the 2 car spinning down the track. I didn't even see him in it those first couple replays, but Brandon Jones has a lot of damage to the right front of his car as well. It just goes to show, this is the second time we've seen it, maybe the third time in this race alone. 3 wide at Darlington just does not work. That's the third time we've seen an accident today because they've been either 3 wide. We saw 3 wide off the exit of turn 4 a couple times. Creed tried to go 3 wide into the corner and he couldn't get it to stick, which, again, just track's not wide enough to do that. Big hit for the 9. Just tore up the left front. A lot of fast race cars in this accident. And even for like John Hunter Nemechek, for instance, that kind of got caught up in it in a sense because that's where it started when Creed had squeezed him into the wall. He's probably going to have to come onto pit road, pull the fenders out. All the cars that were fast enough to somewhat keep up with Larson are taken out in this accident. Sam Mayer doesn't have a lot of damage. I guess he can continue. He's probably the one driver left who I think has speed to compete with the 10. We are still under caution. No red flag condition here. Which I was surprised because there was a lot of debris left behind, especially by the 16. But, I mean, just debris everywhere. If drivers were missing the spinning cars, they were probably hitting debris. But this was a big one, super speedway style at Darlington. We're going to have pit road open this time. Some drivers are coming in. Quite a few still staying out. And we are not even halfway through this race yet. We have already seen 7 cautions in just 71 laps. And we still have a stage end yet to come, which will guarantee at least one more. A wreck fest at Darlington in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Man, oh man, oh man. Can't believe how much of that right front tire from Ryan Truex sheared apart the left side of the 16 car. Crazy. Regina Huddleston, Silent Owl Scribe, Jackson Thomas, Mark DeMars also welcome into the stream. Over under 100 Darlington stripes total in today's. I mean, if you count that wreck, that probably had quite at least a dozen more alone. I'd probably say over on 100 if you count the accidents and drivers squeezing other drivers into the wall. Nemechek has a brake pedal under the... Well, yeah, but Sheldon Creed, like, the contact between the 20 and the 2 there, Creed, when he tried to slide up in front of the 20, it wasn't like he was almost clear and Nemechek could have lifted. Nemechek literally drove into the door of the 20. Like, he was nowhere close to clearing him. In fact, the front bumper of the 20 car was ahead of the 2 when they made contact. It was just an overdrive by Sheldon Creed. Kind of seen Creed kind of drive like that in over his head, overly aggressive. A couple times at the very beginning of the year. Then he cleaned it up, and he was starting to get more consistently good finishes because he was making it to the end of the race, and he's had fast equipment. And now he's starting to kind of fall into making mistakes like that once again, as we saw here today. And that's the main reason why he missed the Xfinity Series playoffs last year, too. Not only didn't win a race last season, but he missed the playoffs. In an RCR car in the Xfinity Series, which is one of the top programs down there. I mean, we're seeing what Austin Hill's been able to do this season. He's leading the point standings coming in the race, 3 wins. And Sheldon Creed, and they were both rookies last year, too. Austin Hill, also a rookie. And Hill's been performing better between last year and this year. Yeah, that's true. Chastain hasn't caused any of the accidents yet. He is in this race. He's actually pulling triple duty this weekend. Chastain ran the truck race last night, and obviously today and the Cup race tomorrow. So the only driver to run all 3 races this weekend. The front of the 9 car came up off the ground after rolling over the left front tire of Sheldon Creed's car when Creed slid down the racetrack. Creed's going to try to continue. He's got it modified now. The hood's gone and both front tires exposed on that race car. Surprised he's even able to continue, honestly. Ton of damage. Hemrick back on pit road. We have had just 2 green flag laps ran in stage 2 so far, and we are 28 laps into the stage. I'm just trying to see cars with some sort of damage where they're running right now. Like Austin Hill is 23rd. Moffitt's got the front end caved in. I know he's 24th. Kligerman's been involved in now 2 accidents. He is in 21st. There are not a lot of cars in the field today that have not been collected in any accident so far. Even Sammy Smith, who had that first spin earlier in the day, he is back on the lead lap with all these cautions after being 2 laps down. He's in 16th. He doesn't really have much damage to his car because he kind of made a save in his spin and then had another big save before he came onto pit road unscheduled back at stage 1. And we're not even into the final stage yet, and he's already back up to 16th because he's been missing all the carnage that's been happening ahead of him on these restarts. Oh yeah, half the field is definitely wrecked. For sure. Most of them from this accident that just took place, but Hocevar's up inside the top 5 now. After missing that wreck. Even before this wreck, though, Hocevar was up to 12th. He's having a great run. Oh, Barry's got quite a bit of damage from an early accident. That was when he got squeezed into the wall by Retzlaff. And he's still going in the 8th place position. Crazy. I remember the truck race at Darlington a couple of years ago, and I think it was 2021, was an absolute wreck fest. It was very similar to this, and we had a couple of big wrecks late in that race. Ended up going like 3 overtimes. We actually talked about that race last night, and the reason why we talked about it last night was because the race last night didn't have any cautions for the first 2 stages. We saw a few of them in the final stage. It didn't get too out of hand. We did have a couple of overtime restarts, but there was some racing. Today, there's been maybe just as many caution laps as what we've had green flag laps through 74 laps. I'm not even joking when I say that. It's not an exaggeration because we have had 7 cautions in 74 laps. And we've only had 2 green flag laps in stage 2, and we have 17 laps left in the stage. We have ran almost 35 laps in stage 2, and we have only had 2 of them under green. Why do they put Darlington on FS1? What is Fox? Hey, I don't know. Don't know. It's the same reason why I never understood why, and I get it's kind of during college football season, so that's part of it. But the Bristol night race is on USA Network ever since they moved it to September. It's not on Big NBC, and I think it's because Notre Dame football is usually on Big NBC that time of the year. But yeah, Bristol night race is another race that should not be on cable. It should be on network television. Godzilla Legendary 2078, thanks for tuning in. Endangered Sense YTYB, thanks for tuning in. Larson or Harvick for the win tomorrow? If I had to pick one of the two, I'd lean towards Larson. If I had to pick between the two. Green flag is finally back in the air following the big accident off of turn 4. We have 15 laps to go at stage 2. Nemechek and Larson on the front row. Carson Hocevar and Cole Custer were in row 2. Nemechek holding alongside the left rear corner panel of Larson. Larson got a bit loose. Mayer with a run off the exit of turn 2. Gets by Custer, looking to the inside of the 20. He gets cut off going into turn 3. And Larson is clear of the race lead now easily from the 20 car. Nemechek trying to slide up in front of the 00. Hocevar gets underneath Mayer at a big moment off turn 4, and Hocevar going to try to take over 4th. Custer clear for 2nd with Nemechek sliding in line behind him in 1 and 2. Slide job attempt made by Hocevar, but he is not going to get into Mayer. Mayer is going to clear high with the run off the outside lane off turn 2. He'll remain in 4th. Corey Heim now inside the top 10 as well. In the 24, running a part-time schedule in the Xfinity Series this season. We are a little bit past the halfway point, about 69 laps to go, 78 laps complete in today's race. Larson with a 0.4 of a second lead over Cole Custer right now. Allgaier just passed Ty Dillon on the racetrack for 6th. He hasn't really been inside the top 10 at all today. Allgaier, that is. But missing that big wreck, and that has now put him in position to get a good finish. Really, outside of Brandon Jones, I didn't see any JRM cars making any sort of massive moves towards the front of the field. Allgaier maybe coming to life a little bit here. Quickly dives underneath the 77 of Hocevar. Couldn't quite stay underneath him there, but that battle is for 5th place on the racetrack. Allgaier rounding the corner out a lot better than Hocevar. Hocevar staying up near the top. Allgaier kind of diamonding the corner off. He's getting a slight bit of clean air in the center. Hocevar's going to back off. He's going to let the 7 car go. No major battle there, and Allgaier will take over the 5th place position. First time the 7 car has entered the top 5 today, as we have another caution on lap 80. Not sure what the caution is for quite yet. Sounds like potentially a debris caution, but I'm not entirely sure. Never mind, Ryan Ellis has stalled. It is not debris. The 43 car of Ryan Ellis has stalled out on the racetrack. Down towards the inside wall, looks like getting into turn 3. Couldn't quite make his way to pit road. It looked like he blew a right front tire, hit the wall, and tried to make his way to pit road. I think he missed the pits off of turn 4. Yeah, just so close to pit road, couldn't quite get there before the car stalled out. It's our 8th caution of the day. We're averaging a caution every 10 laps. We haven't had nearly that many green flag laps in the stage. Here's Chandler Smith exiting the infield care center.
I was kind of running the middle to bottom, and I was actually generating a pretty big run. I guess they were all swamped on top of each other. They started wrecking, and there was a clear hole for a split second. And ironically, right when I got to that hole, it closed up. So, yeah, it sucks. We were having an uphill battle today with our number 16 Quick Type Prog Chevy Camaro. Felt like we were making good adjustments to make it a little bit better. But we honestly didn't. We kept having cautions on cautions on cautions, so don't even know if the adjustment we made was going to make it better or not. So, sucks for my guys. They've been working way too hard. Having second DNF this year, and I'm ready to move on to Wilkesboro and head on over to Charlotte and get back in the Xfinity car too.
Thanks, Chandler.
Good news for him. He won earlier this year. Locked into the playoffs. You never want to have a day like this where you record a DNF, as he said, his second of the year. But when you've won and you're locked into the playoffs, that helps ease the pain, I'm guessing, huh? Maybe not immediately, but later on in the week.
If we get any more interviews from any more drivers collected in that accident, you guys will also be able to listen in. Drivers who did have a DNF virtue of that big accident, Chandler Smith, who you just heard from, Ryan Truex also out of the race now, Brandon Jones is out of the race, and surprisingly, everybody else that was collected in that accident, had to have been at least a dozen of them collected, they all ended up heading pit road. 77 car, Carson Hocevar is down on the pit road for a quick stop. Not too many more people are coming down other than drivers that have damage. There is a little bit of damage to the right side of that 77 car.
It's right here. It'll be a few more laps than we might want. Look for maybe to be a little bit gentle on it once we get going back in green flag racing. The car overall pretty good for him. He said, I'm pretty happy with it. It's not really loose or tight anywhere, so not any changes for him. They have been keeping an eye on the right side of that car. Got a hole on it from some damage that they've been keeping an eye on.
There were a few other cars that came down here under caution, among them the 11 of Daniel Hemrick. Let's go back to the care center and Josh.
Brandon Jones checked a release from the care center. Brandon, what happened there from your perspective?
Yeah, man, gosh, I hate it. We had a lot of guests from Cheez-Its and Kellogg's here this weekend and watching us trying to go for a win here. I think that, our season is certainly turning around here. We had a lot of speed today and our Camaro. And, from my perspective, a lot of them just like this, washed up right here in the middle of the corner. Really, all I saw was Sheldon starting to come down the hill. And, man, I didn't really know if I could have done much differently. I thought after the fact I could have downshifted to third and maybe got the car slowed down and gave it some more turn, but you're on the flat right there. You have no banking at all to help the car turn, so you're really just kind of in a box in a difficult scenario, and I think just wrong place, wrong time really scenario. But looking forward to continuing with these guys, man. We're getting a lot better, I think, as a group, as a whole. Had speed all day to stay in the top 10, and even I think at times to get to the top 5. We just needed some green flag runs. I think that's where we were really fast. As kind of deep into the runs. I saw guys really slipping and sliding. We actually had a lot of rear grip to be able to contend there. So had fun leading up to it, man. I think it's just part of it. We'll get back at it here. We'll keep working and go to the next one.
Thanks, Brandon.
15 cars in that crash. Wow. Biggest crash in the Xfinity Series since 2019.
We'll have 6 laps to go on the restart for Stage 2. The field has gotten the one-to-go signal this time. They're going through the choose rule as we speak. Kyle Larson still leads this race. Things going well for him. Not too much for a lot of the other drivers in the field. It's going to be tough to beat that 10 car. He won Stage 1. We've only had a handful of green flag laps in Stage 2 for him to try to hold on. The only driver in the top 10 that pitted there was Hocevar, who was in 6th when the caution flag came out. NASCAR Fan 33, welcome to the stream as well. So 6 laps left, stage points awarded for the top 10. Got a couple of drivers that are either running from the Cup Series in today's race or even a part-time ride like Corey Heim inside the top 10. So very few actual Xfinity regulars will be battling for the stage win and the stage points. Kyle Larson gets the good push on the bottom from Nemechek. Sam Mayer turns the 3 of Ty Dillon as they get into the corner. Dillon down the racetrack, out of the way. We continue to stay green. Mayer slid the tires, it looked like, on the restart. It ended up clipping him. Nemechek and Larson still battle for the lead. We do stay green, no caution. John Hunter Nemechek underneath the 10 of Kyle Larson, trying to keep up with him. Off the exit of turn 4, he'll duck back in line behind as Larson finally clears Nemechek. Took about a full lap to do that. Really the longest we've seen the top two side by side on a restart today. Usually if one car pulls clear off of turn 2, that was not the case. Took till the exit of turn 4. Looked like somebody else got in the wall further back in the field off of turn 2. Stacking up a couple of cars. Allgaier made its way by the Sam Mayer car, who had stalled out initially there in the restart trying to get going. Mayer is in 5th place right behind Allgaier. Allgaier trying to get after the 0-0 of Cole Custer. Allgaier still putting the battle to Cole Custer for 3rd on the racetrack, down to 4 laps to go in stage 2. It was Jeb Burton and Anthony Alfredo had actually gotten together in turns 1 and 2 that last lap. And Burton was the one that ended up in the wall as a result. Overdrove the corner a bit. Justin Allgaier making a pass on Cole Custer. Into turns 1 and 2. Will slide up clear in the middle of the corner. And now the 1 of Sam Mayer trying to get by Custer as well. Looking to the inside off of turn 2. They'll be side by side down the backstretch, getting into turns 3 and 4. Mayer on the bottom, Custer on the outside. And actually Custer on the top. And Mayer went to the top behind him to enter the corner. Kind of got out of the gas a little early. Slides into Custer off the exit of turn 4 as it banged fenders there. Battling for 4th still. Now Mayer will attempt the slide job in turns 1 and 2. He's going to go up the track. He's not going to clear the 0-0. Holds the 0-0 in an uncompromised position where he has to lift or go into the wall. Custer lifts. Mayer takes over the position. Taking no prisoners there. Just used up the 0-0 of Cole Custer in that battle for 4th place. Larson not pulling away from John Hunter Nemechek right now as we come to the final lap of stage 2. He's about a car length and a half behind Larson as they cross the stripe. Into turns 1 and 2. He's got a bit of a run. He's going to cut to the bottom a little sharper on the entry to turn 1. Larson going up the hill a little bit. Not as much as Nemechek, though. Nemechek looking to the inside off turn 2. Larson got a bit loose. Side by side for the lead. This is for the stage win. Nemechek looking for a playoff point. Into turns 3 and 4. Dives down below the hash marks on the white line. Slides up the racetrack. He's going to clear Larson. Larson's going to try the crossover now. Off of turn 4. Door to door as they come to the line. It's going to be John Hunter Nemechek by inches. Nemechek will win stage 2, stealing it away from Kyle Larson by a couple of inches. Nemechek will win the stage, a playoff point that will carry over for him through the playoffs. And as we get into the pit stops during this stage break, Nemechek will be the one leading him down. Very, very tough battle there for that stage win. It's a great crossover there for Kyle Larson, and maybe Nemechek will have something for him as we get into the final stage, as he stole the stage win away from the 5 or from the 10. Drives the 5 in the Cup Series, but not today. Larson made a clean crossover move. Maybe could have side drafted him a little more aggressively, but by a nose, it was John Hunter Nemechek winning the stage from Larson. So we are under the stage 2 break. The finishing order to stage 2, John Hunter Nemechek won the stage, Kyle Larson 2nd, then Justin Allgaier was 3rd, Sam Mayer 4th, Cole Custer 5th, Austin Hill 6th, Ryan Sieg 7th, Josh Berry 8th, Parker Kligerman 9th, and Sammy Smith will all receive stage points in stage 2. Smith ended up 10th. And again, pit stops will be on the other side of the break. While we're waiting on that, we'll take our diecast showing of the live commentary stream today. We do this at the end of Stage 2 for every live commentary stream for the Truck Xfinity and the Cup Series on the weekend. It's a throwback weekend at Darlington, so I've got a throwback paint scheme for you guys from the 2018 Southern 500, where Ryan Blaney ran a diecast of his dad, Dave Blaney's Jasper 77 paint scheme. Ryan Blaney, my favorite driver in the Cup Series, and grew up a Blaney fan with sprint car racing locally with his uncle Dale, so this was a cool paint scheme anytime he throws it back to his dad. Appreciate it, but this was one of my favorite Dave Blaney paint schemes, so wanted to make sure I got this die cast. It's a Duracell paint scheme on the car that he had, not a Jasper scheme itself, but at the side of the race car, it looks the same. The front of it looks quite a bit different. Maybe they could have done the Duracell logo a little bit more like Jasper, but I'm sure Duracell probably didn't want them to do it. So probably could have been executed a little better, but still like the diecast nonetheless, and bought it. So this is one of only 2 Darlington throwback diecasts that I have, and I'll show the other one off during tomorrow's live commentary coverage of the Goodyear 400 for the NASCAR Cup Series. The Ford Fusion there. Again, this 2018 Southern 500 diecast here for Ryan Blaney. So that is our diecast showing for today. They are back from the commercial break. Pit Road will be open this time by, and you'll get to listen into the pit reports.
Stage 2 winner, John Hunter Nemechek, mostly happy with that car. Said those last adjustments really helped. He still wants to fire off just a tick tighter. As far as the 10 of Kyle Larson, said he was getting way too loose towards the end of that run. They're going to make an air pressure and a track bar adjustment.
The 7 of Justin Allgaier needs just a little bit more turn through the corners. Right now that car is great on old tires. He's raving about that. Said it cycles well. That means every time that we have a caution and a green flag in the 00 Cole Custer, he can't get the car to turn, and the back of the race car is unhooked, meeting it sliding around on the track.
John Hunter Nemechek is going to win the race off of pit road. His pit stop was about 0.2 of a second quicker than Larson. Larson will come out in second. Austin Hill gains 2 spots, up to 4th. Sam Mayer lost 2, falls back to 6th. The 1 spot gain for all of Parker Kligerman, Sammy Smith, and Corey Heim on pit road. Final stage, 57 laps. We're down to 53 to go as we run right now. And it sounds like they're going to try to queue up John Hunter Nemechek during the stage break.
Finish, great job. How does the car balance out, and how are you going to take down Kyle Larson for the checkered?
Yeah, thank you. Good move, I felt like, and Kyle, I feel like, has had the best car on the long run all day. I feel like we've been a little bit better on the short run, so made some adjustments there to try and make the long run better, to try and run with him, and hopefully we can go out here and outduel him head-to-head. Get this 5 Barker Fire safety Toyota GR Supra back in victory lane and burn it down. The boys have provided this thing as fast as Xfinity 50, so ready to go see what we got here in stage 3, and hopefully we can run green.
Thanks for your time, bud. Great job. Looking forward to the rest of it.
Thank you, Mikey.
And there's more good news. The 10 of Kyle Larson speeding.
Oh,
he's going to have to come from the back.
So Kyle Larson speeding on pit road. Every week with this guy. I was feeling confident about picking him to win this race the way things were going those first 2 stages, but then losing it to Nemechek right at the last second in stage 1, and now the pit road speeding penalty. He'll be at the tail end of the field for this restart. There are 32 cars on the lead lap, a lot of them with damage, but Larson going to be backwards in the pack, and with the final stage being just over 50 laps, it is going to be very difficult for Larson to get back into this thing here today. He's had the fastest car in the long runs, and now John Hunter Nemechek will be the one in the driver's seat looking to take control on this upcoming restart. Now, Carson Hocevar had stayed out of the pits. He'll be the leader on the restart. He had pitted during the last caution for incident in stage 2. The stage caution, by the way, will be our 8th caution of the race. There is nobody that is 1 lap down, so everybody that is still in the race is on the lead lap. That's why there are 32 cars on the lead lap. How many cautions there have been. A lot of the free pass positions have already been given, so nobody got the free pass there. And then the drivers out of the race are Ryan Ellis, Brandon Jones, Ryan Truex, Chandler Smith, Blaine Perkins, and Riley Herbst today. Average race speed as of this point with 52 to go is only 86.3 miles per hour. If you haven't voted yet in the chat, be sure to vote for who you think will win today's race. We will close this poll with 40 laps to go. So with 40 to go, we will close the poll. As of right now, Larson at 52% of the votes, but he has to restart the tail end of the field for this upcoming restart. It's going to be tough with not that many laps left for him to try to come back. Other at 28% of the votes right now. John Hunter Nemechek has 15% of the votes. He will be probably the favorite to win the race going forward with Larson further back in traffic. And Ryan Truex at 6% of the votes, but he is out of the race today, so he will not win back-to-back races in his part-time ride with GGR. In that 19. He came off a win at Dover a couple weeks ago. Xfinity Series was off while the Truck and the Cup Series went to Kansas last week. Xfinity Series will be off again next week. They will not be racing at North Wilkesboro. Only the Truck and the Cup Series will. And the next Xfinity race will be at Charlotte Memorial Day weekend following the All-Star break. So one stage of racing left in this one. Hopefully we have a lot cleaner racing in this final stage. It was a caution-filled stage 2. There was a bit of green flag racing back in stage 1 as we had a green flag run just over 30 laps, but that was the longest green flag run of the day. John Hunter Nemechek gets more stage points than any other driver in today's Xfinity Series race. Not only he won stage 2, but he was second at stage 1. So 19 stage points total for Nemechek. Austin Hill did not get as many. Hill came in with a 4-point lead in the regular season standings over Nemechek into the race, so Nemechek has outpointed him already. If he can get a good finish, John Hunter Nemechek will take the regular season points lead away. Still 15 races to go, though, before those 15 playoff points are awarded for that champ. Calvin Moore, thanks for tuning in. What happened to the 0-2 of Perkins? He had a flat right front. He had a flat right front. I think it was at the end of stage 1, if I remember correctly. Hit the wall and ended up... it wasn't the cause of the caution, but he did have to pull into the garage, and his day has ended as a result. And he has gotten a 37th place finish with it. So again, Carson Hocevar will be the leader in the restart in his first Xfinity Series career start today. The 77 car. He had stayed out of the pits. He's going to have about 6 laps on his tires compared to everybody else, which is going to be a difference. Now, he was riding around trying not to abuse them at the tail end of the field, but they are still probably going to be a little bit older, and in return may make him a bit slower nonetheless.
You know, it's going to be tough for him to get back to the lead. You know, I mean, he's restarting 30th. There's only going to be 49 laps to go. I mean, Kyle Larson is really, really good, but that's just, if it goes green, that's not a lot of time for him to get back up there. So he's going to need a caution or two, I feel like, to reset and give him, you know, pick off cars, pit, track position, and try to do the same thing again. It's just going to be really tough to get back there with this little laps to go.
I think from what I've seen so far, we're going to see some of those cautions you talked about.
Yeah.
And I think he gets there.
And I'll say this, only one time has a Cup regular won this year in the Xfinity Series. A.J. Allmendinger in the 10-car Circuit of the Americas when he had a host of problems. Battled through that, came back, won the race. So maybe the script has been written.
All right, 50 to go. Right now, 49 on the restart as the field will be going green this time. Hocevar will be in the outside of the front row, by the way. Nemechek on the inside of row 1 rather, and then row 2 will be Justin Allgaier and Cole Custer. Green flag back in the air. Hocevar spins the rear tires a bit. John Hunter Nemechek will get the launch, and he'll try to clear into turn 1, and he does. Sam Mayer had actually gotten into the back of the 00, who stacked up behind Hocevar on the outside. Allgaier from the inside of row 2 also clears the 77. Custer had to lift to keep it off of Hocevar. Sam Mayer dives underneath them on the backstretch as they battle for 4th. Allgaier at 2nd, trying to keep pace with the 20 of Nemechek, who leads the race to start stage 3 after winning stage 2. Hocevar still in 3rd, full lap now into the restart, has a run on the front stretch and is closing pretty fast on Justin Allgaier after having a nice run on the outside. Kyle Larson is in 28th right now after restarting 32nd. Last car on the lead lap following a pit road speeding penalty during the pit stops during the stage 2 break. 49 laps for Larson to try to go from 32nd to 1st. He won stage 1, finished 2nd by a nose in stage 2, just behind John Hunter Nemechek. He's led the most laps in today's race. Maybe has the car to beat, but may have beat himself on pit road. Yet another pit road speeding penalty for Larson, this time in the Xfinity Series. Good recovery for Parker Kligerman, involved in 2 accidents today, but he is in the 12th place position, hanging on tightly, battling the 24 of Corey Heim right now for that 12th place position on the racetrack.
On his left rear, but doing a nice job. There's Austin Hill we talked about.
Sammy Smith right behind him. So Sammy had probably the worst start of the day that you could have, and they've done a good job of just staying in the game and running 8th.
Don't you love it when kids like that make mistakes, but they're able to keep their car together and learn from them and go out and perform? These are great lessons for kids to make.
Yeah.
Going to be 45 laps to go this time by. So to add a little perspective to that, stage 1, stage 2 today, 45 laps. So we've kind of flipped to the back end of the race, and now you start managing those tires, and most everyone has 2 sets of tires left here to use throughout the afternoon, depending on, as we said, how those cautions fall. Custer by to 3rd, Hocevar 4th, and Sam Mayer knocking on his door.
Sam runs a little bit higher than most people into turn 3, as you see there. And right out next to that wall. Looks like a good run there off the turn, but not quite enough. Parker Retzlaff, we saw him have problems earlier. Josh Williams there battling.
Nemechek leading this race. He's led 15 laps today, won stage 2. We check out our Toyota top performers. We'd come back for Sammy Smith, as we talked about, just popped Kaz Gralla and Corey Heim, the teammates at Sam Hunt Racing. Nice time to go to our Toyota onboard camera, see what this place is all about, riding the wall. Mayer to 4th.
This is good management, though, of those older tires for Hocevar, just not to lose a ton of ground right off the bat. It'll all stabilize for him, I believe.
Yeah, and he's got, 15 car lengths or so to the 39 behind him. So this is a good spot for him to kind of ride. As we see the 10 of Kyle Larson. He's up to 17th. I'm trying to get more spots here. He's slicing and dicing through the field right now. But, he's 9 seconds behind the leader. So I think he could have a shot at it if we get a caution here in about 10 laps and be able to reset as he races real hard in turn 1.
Yeah, contact with Joe Graff Jr. as he tries to get the 16th position. Next up, he'll see his teammate Daniel Hemrick in 15th, Coleman.
Yeah, and if we go back towards the front, we're going to see a 3-horse race for the win here. One thing about Justin Allgaier, where he's at, he can kind of set the tone of this cat and mouse game. He can kind of pressure John Hunter to try to force him to use his tires a little bit more. John Hunter's just got to be really cautious about managing his lap time as this run goes on. As this race goes on, it's so hard to pass right now. You're trying to set yourself up for the last 5 to 10 laps of this race if you're Justin Allgaier.
I'm going to be interested to see how that line he was running earlier down low, why has he drifted up high? What's different now? You can see he's a little bit lower, but higher than the other competitors on entry there.
Yeah, I think he was losing a little time to the 20 when he was wrapping the bottom the whole way through the corner. So I feel like he was like, okay, I need to try to move up to the wall, but still angle down on exit. So I feel like that was it. He just thought he was losing some time and wanted to change his lineup a little bit.
40 laps to go for the NASCAR Xfinity Series at Darlington. It's the Shrine.
Commercial break right now. We'll go through the full field running order with 40 laps to go in today's race. John Hunter Nemechek is your race leader, 1 second ahead of Justin Allgaier, currently in second place. Cole Custer is third, Sam Mayer fourth, Carson Hocevar is fifth, Austin Hill is sixth, Ryan Sieg seventh, Sammy Smith in eighth, Kaz Gralla in ninth, Josh Berry is 10th. Parker Kligerman in 11th, Corey Heim 12th, Ross Chastain 13th, 14th is Jeremy Clements, Kyle Larson up to 15th. Daniel Hemrick in 16th, Joe Graf Jr. 17th, Ty Dillon 18th, Josh Williams 19th, and Jeb Burton is 20th. Kyle Sieg in 21st, Anthony Alfredo 22nd, Parker Retzlaff 23rd, Brendan Poole 24th, and Brett Moffitt is 25th. Jeffrey Earnhardt in 26th, Patrick Emmerle 27th, Matt Mills 28th, Sheldon Creed 29th, and Stephen Parsons is 30th. 31st is Greg Galding, last car in the lead lap, Sage Karam 32nd. Ryan Ellis 33rd, Brandon Jones 34th, 35th place, Ryan Truex, Chandler Smith 36th, Blaine Perkins 37th, and Riley Herbst rounds out the 38 car field. You're listening live here on KRC to the Shriners Children's 200 at Darlington Raceway. Taking a look at our voting poll real quick. 100 votes have been casted. 51% of you say that Kyle Larson will still win this race today despite the speeding penalty. 28% say other. Ryan Truex 5%. He's out of the race, and John Hunter Nemechek currently leads. He had 16% of the votes. So we'll end that poll here. Got about 140 people watching, 62 likes on the stream so far. Be sure to like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Our goal is 100 likes today. We're on the road to 5,000 subscribers on the channel. 60% of people that have watched the channel over the last 28 days are not subscribed, so definitely do so. Appreciate you guys tuning in every weekend with the NASCAR Truck Xfinity Cup Series live commentary streams. Keep our coverage going. Tomorrow's Cup race will start at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll take our final ad break of the day and then take you to the finish of the race. 36 laps to go as Fox runs their hopefully final commercial break of the day. Still a 1.2 second lead for John Hunter Nemechek over Justin Allgaier right now. Kyle Larson up to 13th place on our Kyle Larson watch. Make that 12th place. He just got by Corey Heim now that last lap. So up to 12th after restarting 32nd. 20 spots gained in just 15 laps for Kyle Larson. Passing all those cars, though, he's going to be eating his tires up quite a bit. He is still scored about 10.8 seconds off the race lead. So the hope is that he picks off a few more spots here and then gets a caution, maybe gets some spots back on pit road, and then could try to compete for the win from there. But he's definitely going to need a yellow to try to get him back into the race. Now he has just passed Parker Kligerman for 11th on track. 11 seconds off the lead in 11th place is Larson, the number 10 car. That last lap ran a 32.526, about 2/10 slower than Nemechek. Nemechek obviously has clean air, though, which definitely helps. Maybe he doesn't have to push the car quite as hard as Larson, so he's saving his tires over the course of the run. Big question is here for Justin Allgaier. Is he conserving his tires maybe a little better than John Hunter Nemechek? Maybe that's why Nemechek is pulling him a little bit. Nemechek started on the pole, was the only driver, one of only 3 drivers to run in the 29-second lap barrier in qualifying yesterday. Allgaier 1.1 to 1.2 seconds back on a consistent basis. Last lap, Nemechek was about a 10th quicker. We've already seen 2 seconds of tire fall off over the course of this green flag run. Allgaier's fastest lap was at lap 100, one of the first green flag laps to start stage 3. It was at 30.665. That last lap, he ran a 32.668, so almost exactly 2 seconds slower already. And we're just less than 20 laps into the green flag run, about 17 to be exact. Larson closing in on 2 more cars for position. He's going to the outside lane into 1 and 2. He's going to carry a lot more speed with the banking. A little bit more side force, of course, maybe stabilizing that race car a bit more. Josh Berry got really loose in front of Larson. He was underneath the 26 of Gralla. That's an easy pass for Larson, as now he'll go on the attack for 9th on Gralla. Different lane, trying to catch more clean air on the nose of the 10. And we will see if Larson will get by Gralla through 1 and 2. He goes to the top, cuts to the bottom. Gralla started on the bottom, then went to the outside. And the 10 easily clears him off turn 2. So Kyle Larson still picking him up and putting him down. He's 11.7 seconds off the lead. Sam Mayer is slow on the racetrack in 6th place, and he is coming to pit road with 30 laps left. Sam Mayer off the pace.
So I had to come in and get all that fixed, guys.
Came in 9 points above the cut line. Did get stage points today, which is huge. But gives up a spot inside the top 5. Unscheduled pit stop with 30 laps to go.
Running fourth, we just got talking about how Junior Motorsports has been really good here over the last 4 years, 4 races, and it was a shame. He had a good run going today too.
Riding high, and it just jumps the cushion there a bit. I don't know, was it going low before that, do you think, Ryan?
I think he had a flat before that. Yeah, how it just went straight on him. He did a good job. I don't think it's completely flat. It's probably on the inner ladder. But he did a good job of making sure it didn't hit the fence really at all.
So flat right front tire for Sam Mayer, making the unscheduled stop. That allowed Larson to pick up another position, and he also passes Ryan Sieg through turns 1 and 2. Larson up to 7th place now. Still 11 seconds off the race lead, though. That last lap, he was a couple tenths quicker than Nemechek. Even with running as hard as he is trying to get through traffic, he's still quicker than the leader, but so far back with just 28 laps to go. The more spots he can gain before a potential caution, the better of chances he will have of trying to compete for the win. So he's still got to keep on going. He's got Sammy Smith about a second ahead of him in 6th. Carson Hocevar another second ahead of Sammy Smith in 5th place to get back inside the top 5. The top 3 within 1.8 seconds of the lead right now. And in fact, Cole Custer's ran down Justin Allgaier for 2nd. Custer got to go to the outside of turns 1 and 2. Allgaier running the bottom before cutting to the top, trying to diamond the corner off, back down towards the bottom. Pretty equal with Custer for the most part through 1 and 2. Dealing with lap traffic right now. Lap car on the inside of Jeffrey Earnhardt. Both cars have to go to the outside through 3 and 4. Custer maybe a little bit better through 3 and 4 than Allgaier, and that is seemingly where he's been able to gain the most ground on the 7 car. Custer back to the top again through turns 1 and 2. Side-by-side commercial break will keep our coverage going right now with 26 laps to go in today's Shriners Children's 200 at the Darlington Raceway. Kyle Larson still a bit quicker than the race leader, but he's just so far back. He's 10.5 seconds off the race lead now, actually cutting it down to 10 seconds as you see on our screen. And he's within a couple tenths of Sammy Smith. They'll make the pass for 6th on Sammy. So Kyle Larson from 32nd to 6th in 24 laps, which is absolutely insane. Especially at a track like Darlington. It just goes to show how good Larson is here. He's got a fast car too, but he's just so good at this track. We haven't seen a lot of speed out of that 10 car most races this season. Even when Kyle Busch has been in that car, hasn't really been race win competing. Only driver really to have race winning speed was AJ Allmendinger back at Circuit of the Americas. Cole Custer to the inside of Justin Allgaier for 2nd. They're door to door off of turn 2. Allgaier squeezes Custer on his exit to the corner. Custer had to lift as a result and loses about 4 to 5 car lengths on Allgaier as he has to get back into the gas and try to close that gap back up again. Half a lane off the wall for Custer, maybe a full lane off the wall, trying to catch some clean air in the middle of 3 and 4 and regain that ground he lost on the 7. Nemechek's out to about a 2.2 second lead. There's about a 4 second gap behind Custer back to the 4th place car of Austin Hill. Kyle Larson battling Carson Hocevar for 5th on the racetrack, as they're about 9 seconds off the race lead. 22 laps to go this time by, and we are under caution with 23 to go. Debris off the back of the 31 of Parker Retzlaff from an earlier accident, as one of his pieces of the left rear corner panel is now laying on the back straightaway. Oh, somebody just ran it over. Looked like they hit it with the left front fender. I don't think they actually ran it over, so I think their tire will be okay, but not that it matters. I guess everybody's going to be pitting anyway for new tires. But that is the caution Kyle Larson needed to drive it back up through 6th. Just has to make sure he doesn't speed on pit road again. Do you imagine if he did all that work just to speed on pit road again anyway? Only Kyle Larson or Denny Hamlin would do that. They're best friends off the racetrack, and I wonder if that leads into them both having pit road issues like every other week. If it's not Hamlin one week, it's Larson. If it's not Larson one week, it seems to be Hamlin. I will say with Hamlin, I'll cut him a little bit of slack that sometimes if it's not him, it's his pit crew versus Larson's pit crew is one of the best in the Cup Series. Got about 150 people watching right now. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. So a debris caution. Our first caution of the final stage, in fact. And it will be our 9th caution of the race total. Pit road is not open yet. They will make another circuit around the racetrack before it'll be open the following time by. As we have about 20 laps to go in today's Xfinity Series race. We had 2 overtimes yesterday in the Truck Series race. It had less cautions than this with the same race length. Same stage splits as well. 5 wins in the last 5 weeks for the JGR Xfinity / Cup program. 2 wins this year for John Hunter Nemechek already. Won the second race of the season back at Auto Club and then also won at Martinsville about a month ago. He has led every lap of this final stage so far. And he is catching up to Larson for the most laps led. He's about 5 laps behind him in that category. Going to have to win another race off pit road though late right now. And it's going to be interesting to see who will get the battle done.
Okay, 2011. Gosh, I didn't look very happy.
Yeah.
Must have. I don't know. I don't know if we came in. I don't know why I'm holding the checkered flag.
These pit stops are going to be interesting. Those couple of cars up front, 3 of them that Coleman alluded to, are getting ready to have some company.
Carson Hocevar, this is a break for him too. You know, he gets to bolt on a set of stickers. He did a good job holding on scuffs.
Nemechek leading the field onto pit road for potentially the final time today.
Playing field. Pit stops coming. 20 laps to go. Josh, they're heading your way.
And John Hunter Nemechek said he doesn't need any adjustments with that car. Just give him 4 tires and fuel as he looks for his 3rd win of the season. Kyle Larson in the 10. He said it just needs to be tightened up a little bit, so they're going to make an air pressure adjustment for him.
Well, it's been adjusted. Allgaier too loose to run the top side of the racetrack right now. When he tried to move up there, crew chief Jim Coleman asking him, do you want me to adjust for that, or are you going to run the bottom here towards the end of the race? They got to figure that out on this stop. And the 00 Colt Custer needs the same change to his race car to help the car turn just a little bit better.
12-7 on the stop for Nemechek. Right around 13 it looked like for Allgaier. The race off pit road.
Nemechek had the fastest stop, and he will win the race off of pit road pretty easily. Larson going to gain 1 spot, it looked like. He will be in 5th. Josh Berry up 4. Kligerman up 5. Inside the top 10, Austin Hill gained a spot. Carson Hocevar lost 3 spots. He will be 9th. So Larson got 1 spot on pit road there. He'll be 5th on the upcoming restart. If I had to guess, he'll probably take the outside. Well, it's going to be tough. It depends. If the inside of row 2 is available, I think Larson will take the inside of row 2 or the outside of row 3, if I had to guess. Whatever the best available would be. I think the outside of row 3 will probably be better than the inside of row 2, but if that's already taken, I think he'll take the inside. If 3 of the 4 cars in front of him decide to take the top when they get to the choose rule. Crash fest of a race in the middle going, but we got a little bit of green flag racing in there in stage 3. Hopefully we don't turn into another crash fest at the end of this so we can get a nice classic Darlington finish here for this one. We had a photo finish back at stage 2 when Nemechek won the stage and Kyle Larson ended up finishing second. As we're down to just 18 laps to go, we'll have somewhere in the ballpark of 15 to 16 laps left when we go back to green flag racing. Also, when Nemechek did win Stage 2, it was his 4th stage win of the season, and I do believe he has won more stages than any other driver in the Xfinity Series so far this year. Actually, he's tied for the most stage wins with Justin Allgaier this season, as they both have 4 apiece. Up to this point in the race, we have had 9 different drivers who have led a lap, some of those under caution, like Jeremy Clements, the 08. I think that's Joe Graff Jr. Patrick Emerly led under caution as well, Carson Hocevar, but a couple different drivers have led under green flag conditions, like Sam Mayer very early in the race at stage 1, Nemechek right now, Kyle Larson won stage 1, led a lot of laps at stage 2. Larson does go to the outside of row 3, which I expected would be the lane he would pick. I think that was probably the best available for him, and he was able to get it. And then John Hunter Nemechek and Justin Allgaier will be on the front row, and Nemechek takes the bottom this time. He restarted on the top the last couple times. Although I will say Nemechek has probably been the best on the restart of any other driver so far today.
He'll count the cars on the bottom for me, and then I just kind of do math in my head of where I'm running and then where I'd be if I lined up on the bottom or top. But yeah, at the end of the day, it is all driver. We ask opinions, I'll ask Josh, okay, hey, what lane has been better, today from mid-pack or the front? So they give us a lot of information, but at the end of the day, yeah, that's all driver.
I'm glad I wasn't a part of the choose there. if there's math involved, I think I'd have been in trouble. This is going to be fun, isn't it?
It's going to be a heck of a race to the finish.
This restart could very well decide who wins it. Watch Larson coming from row 3 on the outside. Had a speeding penalty, came back to the top 10, gets the caution he needed. Perhaps he could win for the first time.
16 laps to go into the Geico restart zone. Green flag back in the air. Nemechek leads them back to the start-finish line. Trying to get away from a side draft from Justin Allgaier as he will beat him into turns 1 and 2, easily clear. Larson trying to get to the outside of the 26 car of Kaz Gralla, who's had a pretty good recovery today, looking for a top 5 finish potentially. 10 car almost bounced off the wall off turn 2. He may have stayed in the gas though, and he'll be able to clear Gralla for 5th place, which is where he was when he left pit road. Has to get up there with the 20 car, but he's got a few cars in between himself and the race leader. Nemechek is already out to about a 4/10 of a second lead over Justin Allgaier at second. Austin Hill was able to get by Cole Custer for 3rd on that restart. Gained a spot there. And now he's trying to put the challenge to Allgaier for 2nd, who was not able to keep up with Nemechek, and it actually looked like Custer was in a very close battle with Allgaier right before the caution flag came out. Custer under duress, though, instead from Kyle Larson into turns 3 and 4. Larson goes to the bottom of the racetrack. Now, Nemechek with a leading, I'm sure he's pushing hard trying to keep as big of a lead as he can. But maybe with the clean air, he can conserve his tires a bit better than, say, a Kyle Larson who's going to have to pass quite a few cars to try to get in contention to win. Larson going to beat the 0-0 of Cole Custer down to the bottom of the racetrack, but he can't stay alongside of him off of turn 2. Custer hanging on to that 4th place position. Larson taking a little bit too much time trying to pass the 0-0 right now. It's allowing the top 3 cars ahead of him to slowly get away. Larson taking another peek to the bottom of the track. Still not going to get there. He's been a little better in 1 and 2 than 3 and 4, it seemed, for most of this day. Goes to the top of the racetrack. Cuts down to the bottom, trying to diamond the corner off to get underneath Custer. Hanging on the left rear corner panel. Now he's able to side draft Custer, so he's going to sling it off into 3 and 4. Slide job move by Larson. best in the game when it comes to those slide job moves, and he clears Custer easily. And 39 has a problem. He is smoking. We stay green for now. Allgaier closed the gap slowly on Nemechek. He was a second back. Now he's to about 0.7 of a second off the lead. I think Sieg has made his way to pit road. He has, but there's a crash behind them. It looks like off of turn 4, Kyle Sieg. So Ryan Sieg was smoking, and Kyle Sieg, his brother, ended up hitting the inside wall. Might have been off of turn 2, not turn 4. Whatever side of the track it was, it looked like he had broken loose. Hits the inside wall at the left side of his race car. There was no contact. He was underneath the 38 of Joe Graff Jr., but he did not make contact. Just broke loose coming off the hop off of turn 2 with the fresh pavement to the old pavement. Probably the bumpiest part of the racetrack is that transitioning off the banking to the corner there and slamming the inside wall. Wasn't able to save it. So that'll more than likely end Kyle Sieg's day. They're going to try to keep him going, I'm sure, though, because we're not going to have too many laps left. Got a couple of flat tires on the right side after locking him up in the spin. Ryan Sieg was inside the top 10 before he had dropped off as well. Tough break. I think he was running right around 7th or 8th. So another late race caution and another caution in total in today's race. And I believe that is the 10th caution. Yep, that is caution number 10. In what is just a 200-mile race today at Darlington. And it sounds like we've got some pit
Custer
stops.
came to pit road and said, please, more of you people follow me. Let's have a bunch of people behind me so I can have a shot at winning this race.
You know, he was fifth, so he must have not thought, you know, hey, my car isn't good enough to win. And so let's try to take a chance and put some new tires on it. Maybe I'll drag a bunch of guys with me so I can restart, you know, in the low to mid-teens. I don't know if he'll be able to restart that far up, but that's just a call to try to beat people into coming and try to have your only shot to win.
And he did get some takers. There were some cars that came with him.
Toughest thing, as I said a moment ago, is just all those cars on the lead lap, because we've had so many cautions today. You haven't had a ton of drivers that have gone a lap down, and so with that, the rally becomes more of an uphill climb for guys like Custer and Mayer, Ty Dillon, who made pit stops there. When we're done here in Darlington, the 2023 USFL season continues. It's next on Fox as the Houston.
So this restart will come with less than 10 laps to go. Very few drivers ended up pitting. Cole Custer from 5th hit pit road. He will restart at 18th place. I think Sam Mayer, Ty Dillon also came into the pits. I think Dillon was up inside the top 10 as well. I think he was right around 9th or 10th. So 3 drivers hit pit road that will have fresher tires, but they're only going to have about 5-lap fresher tires and 17 cars on older tires ahead of them for the restart, and we're not going to have many laps left. Meaner Cat, Ravens fan, thanks for tuning in. Put rain tires on. Well, it's not raining, so no use of that. Stu Isaac, thanks for tuning in as well. Yeah, there's a slight delay with YouTube versus what you may be watching at home. If you're watching the race on TV, it may be behind slightly. Try not to spoil anything in the chat if you could. Maybe people watching that are not watching the race. They haven't gotten the one-to-go signal yet. I think they will be this time by, which would mean we would only have 6 laps to go in the restart. 5-lap fresher tires for Custer on back. I don't think they're going to be a factor of winning this race necessarily. I think the winner is going to come within those top 4 positions on this restart. And more than likely, John Hunter Nemechek. Unless somebody can time a restart better than him, but I'd probably say Nemechek has been the best driver in the restarts today. I think hands down he has been the best on the restarts, getting through the gears. He hasn't really spun his tires much. Gets a good launch. He kind of goes a little bit lower, I've noticed, on the restart than some of the other drivers around him. Nemechek will take the inside lane once again. Allgaier will be on the outside of that first row. And then row 2 will be Kyle Larson on the bottom and Austin Hill on the outside. Row 3, Carson Hocevar on the bottom. Great run today. And a one-off Xfinity start, the 77 car. Hopefully he'll have more starts coming up later this season. Kaz Grala will be on the outside of row 3. Great run for that 2016 today for Grala. On speed, he was outside the top 20 in the very early going of the race, but he missed a big wreck. They made some massive adjustments to that 26 car, and he has been able to rally and get a good showing here late. Hopefully he can get a good finish because he deserves it. We'll actually have 7 laps to go on the restart, not 6. So 7 laps to go on the upcoming restart here. So Nemechek and Allgaier going to stay tight, door to door here. Late race restart following the 10th caution of the race. 7 lap shootout to decide the winner in this Xfinity Series race at Darlington. We've seen a lot of classic finishes in the Xfinity Series in recent years at Darlington. Will we get another one this afternoon? Green flag is back in the air. Allgaier spins his tires on the outside. That might allow Larson on the inside of row 2 to get into second, and this could be his best opportunity to win. One car got sideways getting into the corner with Sammy Smith. Larson is clear for second after Allgaier's mistake. Jacked up the 21 of Austin Hill. Larson from 4th place on the last caution is now in P2. And it's going to be a head-to-head battle between Nemechek and Larson for the race win. Custer on fresher tires. We're watching him as well. He's made his way up to 12th in the first lap following the restart. 5-lap fresher tires for him. He's going to be about a half a second quicker lap than the leaders with those fresher tires. 6 to go. Larson to the outside into turns 1 and 2. He's been better in that corner than pretty much every driver today. 3 and 4, he's been pretty equal with drivers of similar speed like the 20 of Nemechek. So 1 and 2 may be the place where he's going to have to try to get the pass made. Larson looking to the bottom of the track through 3 and 4, trying to get clean air in the nose. He doesn't go to the wall. Nemechek did go to the outside wall that time, and he'll have a little bit more momentum down the front stretch as Larson tries to stay in the draft to minimize the amount of pull-away speed Nemechek might have that time. 5 laps left. Now Larson goes back to the top. Nemechek towards the bottom to round the corner out. Larson diamonds the corner off a lot different than pretty much everybody else through 1 and 2. And I think that is how he is able to get that much more speed out of his race car there. But Nemechek did a great job that time despite starting down towards the bottom again. Larson changes his lane to the outside on the entry now to 3 and 4. Cuts down to the middle in the center of the corner. Nemechek starting to manage that gap. Larson was closing a bit. Nemechek a slight bit faster than Kyle Larson that last lap. 4 to go. Kyle Larson so close to the wall through turns 1 and 2. A little closer when he diamond cut the corner off that time than John Hunter Nemechek. He got a big run, beat Nemechek back to the gas. Allgaier is in 3rd, and he is about a full second ahead of Austin Hill already if these two tangle together at the front of the field. Nemechek in the wall in turns 3 and 4. He overdrove the corner. He's in the wall again off the exit. Larson slides the rear tires. He's got a little bit of a run, but maybe not as much as he would have hoped. 3 laps left. Slight mistake there from John Hunter. If he makes one more of those mistakes, Kyle Larson's going to be right there. Might not even have to make a mistake for Larson to get there all of a sudden. Bit of a hazy smoke down the backstretch. Might be coming from... I don't think it's from Nemechek. I don't think he's got a tire rub. I think it might be coming from whoever else might have had smoke towards the back of the field. We do stay green. 2 laps to go. Kyle Larson within about 2 car lengths behind Nemechek at the start-finish line. Larson towards the outside in turns 1 and 2. Nemechek down towards the bottom. Rounds his way to the outside. Center of the corner. Kyle Larson looking a bit quicker than John Hunter again through 1 and 2. Lap and a half to go. Difference is about a car length going into turn 3 between Larson and Nemechek. Looks like Larson backs the corner entry up a little bit more into turns 3 and 4. Cuts to the bottom in the center of the corner. Nemechek slides the rear tires as they work their way up turn 4. White flag in the air. 1 lap to go. Sponsored by Credit One Bank. Nemechek and Larson battle it out on the final lap. Larson goes to the outside in turns 1 and 2. He's got to run. Nemechek almost gets up into the outside wall. Larson had to lift to keep it off the back of the 20. Now to the bottom of the racetrack. Both cars are sideways. They're door to door down the backstretch as they drag race into turn 3. They touch as they get into the corner. Nemechek gets into Larson. Both cars are in the outside wall as they work their way off of turn 4, coming to the checkered flag. They're going to be door to door. Nemechek on the bottom. Nemechek spins after contact, and Kyle Larson will win at Darlington. Larson is the winner. Nemechek slides across the line at 4th. Caution flag is out behind him as Nemechek sits sideways on the front stretch, and Kyle Larson wins the race. Nemechek got into the back of the 5. They both went into the wall. Larson held onto it, wins it. Allgaier finishes 2nd, and Custer ended up 3rd. Nemechek's car's destroyed after hitting the wall on the inside of the track. What a finish. God, I love Darlington. Man, oh man. Larson wins it after a speeding penalty. Went from 32nd to 6th. And then he got the late race caution. Allgaier spun the tires on the last restart, which allowed Larson to go from the inside of row 2 to 2nd. And that allowed him to keep pace with John Hunter. Nemechek took till the final lap to finally work himself to the inside of the 20. Nemechek got into him getting into the corner. Larson hit the wall, and Nemechek ran into Larson off of turn 4 after Kyle Larson already hit the wall. I mean, Larson didn't do anything wrong there. And sideways, back against the outside wall, was Nemechek after hitting the bottom of the track, came back across the top, and ended up finishing 4th. 2nd win for the number 10 team for Kaulig Racing this year. The 3rd win as an organization this season. Chandler Smith has one. Kyle Larson now has one. Allmendinger has one. And here is your race winner, Kyle Larson.
In the Xfinity Series, we said it earlier, A.J. Allmendinger, a host of problems, comes back, wins at Circuit of the Americas today. Kyle Larson erases a pit road speeding penalty, and he wins at Darlington. Regan?
Kyle Larson, Adam, going to get the checkered flag, as he should after a heck of a performance, Kyle. Winless no more at Darlington. How's this feel?
Yeah, it feels good. Exciting fashion there too at the end. We had a really, really good car the whole race, and I made a mistake and sped on pit road, and you knew we were gonna have time to get to the front if we got a caution, and we were picking cars off really fast, and got to 6 before the round of pit stops there, and had some lane selections work out for me, and then yeah, I could really work that line and wanted to get runs in the center of 1 and 2 there, and was able to pack air on him and get to his inside, and just side drafted really tough there, and again, it was like you're kind of just bouncing off each other a little bit, and I'm not sure what happened into 3, but seemed like he tried to get in behind me to shove me into the corner, and it kind of hooked me right and hit the wall, and just had to try and stay away from him again off of 4. So what an exciting race there.
You mentioned running all those different lines, Kyle, running the top in turn 1 and then getting that run down the backstretch. Did you know what you were going to do when you got to 3 as soon as you got that run?
Well, I didn't really know. I mean, I thought we could race it out without getting into each other, similar to what he did to me at the end of the 2nd stage. He got me free in 1 and 2 and got to my inside and threw a slide job on me and was able to cross me over, or I crossed him over, and we drag raced the line. So was kind of thinking it was going to be like that, but it obviously didn't play out that way. So thanks all you fans for supporting this event. The Throwback Weekend's so much fun. Thanks to Rick Hendrick, Kaulig Racing, HendrickCars.com. This has been a lot of fun getting a race for their team. It's been really smooth. You're getting adjusted to them. Really great guys, and an awesome race car too.
Kyle Larson, your Xfinity winner in Darlington.
Larson and Nemechek put on a show to.
If we get an interview from any other drivers before they go off the air, you guys will get to listen in. I'm sure they went past their airtime on your local Fox affiliate, considering we did have 10 cautions in this race today. The caution flag did wave when Nemechek spun back across the field after hitting the inside wall, but it was well after Larson had taken the checkered flag. They were just trying to warn other drivers that were racing for position. They were coming to the checker. There's a car sitting right at the start-finish line sideways there in the front stretch. We'll go through the full field finishing order right now. 2 hours, 16 minutes, 34 seconds total time on today's race through the conclusion of the 200 miles and 147 laps. Average race speed was 91.52 miles per hour. Kyle Larson, your race winner here today. Justin Allgaier finishes in second. Cole Custer third. Austin Hill has actually scored fourth. And John Hunter Nemechek will be moved back to the fifth place position. It did look like Nemechek beat Austin Hill back to the line. So, again, these are unofficial results. But the top three we can confirm. Larson, Allgaier, Custer. I think John Hunter Nemechek was fourth. Austin Hill was fifth. Carson Hocevar, sixth place run. Great job in his first career Xfinity start today. Kept it clean. No mistakes made. Great run. Josh Berry finishes seventh. Sam Mayer had a lot of speed early. Not as much in the second half of the race. He finishes eighth. Great recovery for Kaz Growler finishing ninth. And Corey Heim, another truck regular, gets a top 10 today, finishing in 10th place. Sammy Smith, in his first Darlington start will finish in 11th. Jeb Burton 12th, Parker Kligerman 13th, Jeremy Clements 14th, Anthony Alfredo finishes 15th, Daniel Hemrick 16th, Josh Williams 17th, Ty Dillon 18th, Ross Chastain 19th, and Patrick Emerly will finish 20th. Brett Moffitt in 21st, Stephen Parsons 22nd, Brendan Poole 23rd, Parker Retzlaff 24th, 25th was Sheldon Creed, Jeffrey Earnhardt 26th, and was the last car in the lead lap. Ryan Sieg finishes 27th. So he got lapped there in the late going. Matt Mills, 28th. Greg Goulding, 29th. And Kyle Sieg in 30th. 31st was Sage Karam. Joe Graf Jr., 32nd. Everybody from 33rd on back DNF today. Ryan Ellis will finish 33rd. Brandon Jones, 34th. Ryan Truex, 35th. 36th with Chandler Smith. Blaine Perkins, 37th. And Riley Herbst will round out the 38-car field today. And what a wild finish to this race. Kyle Larson gets the win. Started third today. Let's see. We ended up having a total of 9 different drivers leading one lap in today's race. And we had 20 lead changes amongst those 9 drivers. And again, 10 cautions in today's race as well. Thanks for everybody tuning in. We'll have coverage of tomorrow's NASCAR Cup Series race. Our pre-race coverage will begin at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope to see you guys for that one. Thanks for watching. Predicted 4 Cup winners correctly this year, and now I've predicted 3 Xfinity winners this year. I'm on a roll with my predictions, so you won't want to miss the predictions episode tomorrow. I'll go through drivers who I think will run well, not run well, for fantasy advice, maybe late betting advice before the start of tomorrow's race. So, again, you won't want to miss it. I'll see you guys tomorrow for that one. Thanks for watching the Shriners Children's 200 coverage here today for the NASCAR Xfinity Series at Darlington. Have a good rest of your Saturday afternoon, everybody.